What's up, you filthy casuals? Welcome to the Casual Shenanigans Gaming Podcast, a podcast all about the irreverent love of gaming. I'm one of your hosts, Jeremiah, and tonight I am joined by Dave.
What's up, guys?
James.
What's up?
And Joel.
Geralt.
He's mine, stay away.
We are back after 2 weeks away. Technically only 1 week gone, but that means there's 2 weeks in between episodes. So we missed you guys. We're back. Moving on. So we record the show live on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on youtube.com/casualshenanigans, where you should check us out. You can also check us out at casualshenanigans.com. But tonight, this is our Games of the Year podcast. Everybody else, like all these Games of the Year lists, they start popping up in mid-December, which is really disrespectful to all the games that release in late December. None of which I can name at the moment. But
all
really
those Christmas season games.
It's really disrespectful to them. So we're waiting until the new year, the proper time to do a Game of the Year list. So before we start that, we have a little bit of housekeeping. Person, you know who you are. The person who won The Witcher 3, Wrench, I believe his gamertag is. He won it during the Lootcast. You have not written in with your Steam ID. I have not been able to gift you your copy of The Witcher 3. So take care of that.
I am personally offended. Like, also, really personally offended that he has not claimed and played my 2015 Game of the Year.
Spoilers!
Whoa, spoilers!
I'm out.
Now I'm wearing a Witcher hoodie.
All right. So anyway, right into us. We'll hook you up. Everyone else, thank you for coming out to the Lootcast. It was a lot of fun. Congratulations to everyone who won games.
We haven't picked out a game for a weird stranger yet.
Yeah, we did.
Did we?
Yeah.
Did we
already
buy
gifted to her.
Oh, did
Goat
you?
Simulator. Yeah, she has it.
Oh, sweet.
She's had it for quite some time.
That's actually a good game.
It's a decent game. Yeah, I looked through the really crappy, cheap games codes I could get on Amazon, and most of them were like DLC for Farm Simulator. I considered just buying her some DLC for Farm Simulator and not the game.
Just the DLC.
No. Oh, well, that's a great idea.
What happened to my choice? It's at least worth a mention. The trivia game.
Oh, I couldn't find it for some reason. I was looking through all the cheap PS4 games. I didn't see it, so. To be honest, I didn't really want to spend that much time on it because it's a weird stranger. So I was like, whatever, this will do.
Well, the one I chose was a trivia game where you, I guess, play. And since she did so fantastic in our trivia, I figured she doesn't really need practice, but it wouldn't hurt to stay sharp, for next time.
Brutal. All right. It's now time.
Oh, wait. Got one more announcement. We got an announcement.
You guys will never let me just do that, will you? Go ahead,
Well, you
James.
know what? Get excited about life, okay?
I'm excited.
I'm excited because
I'm excited
because Rocket League has extended the snow day mutator.
Oh, really?
Yep, due to popular demand, they are keeping it up.
It's really popular still. Like it's like 5,000 to 6,000 people in the playlist every night still.
I will be surprised if they don't push it further and further till it becomes a game mode. I'm just hoping. That's just my thing. Just my hope. All right, just spreading a little New Year's joy. Cheer. Go ahead.
All right. I'll go ahead. All right. It is now time for our Games of the Year. Now, we've been telling you our Game of the Year is not going to be like everyone else's. They have their categories like Best RPG, Best Multiplayer, Best Single Player Game, Best the Corporate Check Cashed Game.
Pedestrian.
They have all those categories. We don't believe in any of that. That's way too objective and quantifiable. So tonight we have 16 awards we're going to hand out for each of us. Some of our choices will be the same. Some of them will not. So we're going to go pretty fast through all these. We'll only stop and talk about it when it merits discussion. But we have a lot of categories in which to award winners. And we're just going to go and start. We're not going to bury the lead. We're not that type of podcast. We're going to start with award number 1. The Special Time Alone Award, which is for our predominantly favorite single-player game, our favorite predominantly single-player game of 2015. Dave, we'll go ahead and start with you.
Geralt!
All right.
I just have a note here that I was trying to think of like any other single-player games from like the last 10 years that came close to like how much I enjoyed The Witcher. The only one that even comes close, I think, was Stalker in 2007. Like just for like immersion.
Is The Witcher 1.
Yeah, I mean that's probably like number 3.
Mhm.
for me. So there
Sweet.
you go.
I will also jump on the train with Dave. The Witcher 3, absolutely my favorite single player game.
Geralt train, choo choo.
James, what about you?
I'm gonna say Fallout just because it's been my go-to game. I've been doing it in spurts. I haven't been doing, 5-10 hour sessions. I've been just doing a couple missions. Just when I have some time to relax and, going on to games that I want to spend more time in a row, knowing that I want to get more out of this experience. So it's been my special, I feel like relaxing. I'm going to go blow heads off. Game.
Joel?
Bloodborne.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised. Got anything else you want to say about that?
But it could change to What's Under My Blanket or what it was the game called.
That's already
What's-
2016.
yeah.
That's got to be in the running for 2016.
Oh,
game
that's
of the
right.
year.
Yeah. I literally got home, checked on Steam, like, downloaded.
Have you played any?
No, I can't wait.
Please stream some.
I'm gonna stream some after this.
We'll
I
host,
can't wait
welcome
to play.
we'll host it on our Twitch.
I'm so glad we're in the middle of the indie game revolution.
We have all these games like Mount Your Friends, Shower with Your Dad Simulator, What's Under My Blanket. It's like you and John teamed up and made a games company. You learned how to make pixelated penises and you've just been having a go at it.
Look, he's gargling right now.
Why did you take a drink, Joel? Why?
Why a deep drink too? Like you were like leaned back in your chair.
Dave, did you just say he's gargling right now?
Welcome
All
to Bro Job Games.
It's now time for the next category. In honor of the 5th member, Casual Shenanigans Gaming Podcast, Debbie, the Pass the Wine Award. Your favorite predominantly multiplayer game of 2015. Joel, we'll start with you.
Bloodborne.
It
Really?
can't be a predominantly single player and predominantly multiplayer
It's
game.
a ton of multiplayer. If I play 60 some hours of multiplayer in the game, that's a multiplayer game.
Do I have to link you to what predominantly stands for?
The whole game is connected online. It's
all right,
multiplayer.
I
You're
know. I'm just giving you a hard
constantly
time.
getting
I'm
invaded.
giving you a hard time. I'm giving you a hard time. Sorry, go ahead.
Bloodborne.
Okay. All right. All right, James.
I'm going to go with a few, actually.
I'm not really sure that's how the awards work, James.
Well,
Oh, do we have rules now? Because these don't look like the kind of award shows that
We
have
made
kind
the
of rules.
this afternoon, guys. You were all there. You were all there. No,
Screw-
all right, go ahead,
screws.
James.
definitely Rocket League.
Mhm.
Just spent an amazing amount of time playing that. And probably GTA. I think I've had a lot of fun playing that
Mhm.
throughout the year. Taking a break, but the times we have played have just been amazing.
Dave?
I was really tempted to go with Rocket League, but I'm going to say GTA 5 because even though I'm playing it less now, I'm going to be playing it like on and off for probably like a few more years. And it's got, each time that I play, there's something new to do, and I still enjoy the races and all. It's got so much more to offer. So I'm going to go with officially GTA 5. Plus, it's the Pass the Wine Award. I feel like Debbie would like condescendingly look down on me if I didn't pick 5.
But we did play until we were practically drunk in Rocket League. It was so late.
Joel was like, he was completely out of it. It was amazing.
Joel, are you back?
I just hear Joel laugh.
Sorry, yeah.
I'm not sure what happened. Can you turn your camera back on?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I didn't realize it was off.
That was super
No, I don't know what
creepy.
happened. It dropped you from the call all of a sudden. Dave just said his choice was GTA Online. I'm going to say GTA Online as well for the reason that I think it's the most complete multiplayer game I've played this year, in the sense that no matter what type of multiplayer gaming you're looking for, GTA Online offers it. So there's really complicated and difficult heists and missions you can do if you want to, where you need a really tight team. You need, a lot of coordination. You have a lot of yelling back and forth and trying to set stuff up, and you pull off crazy things, and it's cool. And you can also just dick around and just cruise around the map. Do the free mode events, just hang out with your friends. The sandbox, the physics and everything, they've really fine-tuned it over the last couple GTA games, where it really is fun just tooling around the world. So we've had groups of like 15 people having fun, and we've had just 2 people roaming around, and you can have a great time. So it doesn't do any one thing better, the absolute best. Like, it's not the absolute best third-person shooter. It's not the absolute best racing game or anything like that. But I think it's the most complete multiplayer experience I've had this year, and I'm not even close to done with it, at least at the rate they keep adding content and community missions keep coming up. Like, I played a little bit less than I used to, but I mean, I'm still probably putting in 5 or 6 hours a week. So I love it.
Yeah, I would say, I played GTA back when it was on PS3, Xbox 360, and then got it on the newer gen consoles. And honestly, I thought, I might play a little bit with you guys just because I hadn't played with you guys yet. But like you said, because they're adding so much content, back then running around and jumping off buildings was fun. Now it's dogfighting and chasing the taco truck or protecting the taco truck and, our crazy melee matches. It's been a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. And I really sorry, go ahead, Dave.
I was gonna drop like a random side note. Like, as much fun as the races and the missions and all are, when it was snowing over Christmas, one of the most fun things that I did was I grabbed this like old station wagon with luggage on top, added a Christmas horn to it, put on Christmas pajamas, picked up Ben, and we drove up to see Jeremiah at the airport while playing Christmas music over the horn. Like, it was just driving in the snow together. It was just it's a fun community game. It really is.
It is. Later that night, me and Ben and Justin from Dollarwise Gamers, we took a helicopter to the very northern edge of the land. Not the northern edge of the map, but the northern edge of the land. Went up as high as we could and then jumped out, and we parachuted, and then we just saw how far south we could drift. And I actually made it to the intersection by the skyscrapers in southern Los Santos. Drifted the entire map. I was still above the clouds going over Lake Chiliad. And it was very peaceful. It was snowing. I think the moon was out or the sun was starting to come up or something. And it's snowing. You look down, it really looks like snow on the ground. Like, the streets are kind of deserted. Everyone's at home. And you're just drifting calmly through the night. I was like, this is pretty cool. Last thing I'll say for GTA Online, I like that it's a game that people of many different skill levels can play together and have a good time.
Yeah.
Because we've got people who are good pilots and people who are good shooters and good drivers and everything else. And those people can all play together, where we're not going to get everybody into a Battlefield game or into Arma or anything else. Like, those games are very focused and specific for what they do. But this is a game that pretty much everyone can find something they enjoy doing in this game for at least a while. So
shopping excessively.
And what's funny too, Jeremiah, you mentioned like how nice the snow and all looked. It's also really funny that for a game that can do so much and like that everyone can play online together, it's still one of the best looking PC games out there. Like, it's weird sometimes. You're like racing around and like blowing each other's cars up, and you're like, wow, this sunset looks almost photorealistic. All right.
The Witcher 3 definitely won the awards for like best lighting engines and stuff this year. I was just blown away. I mean, the lighting looked great in 2013 on the PS3 and the Xbox, but seeing it in 4K at 60 FPS, like, it's just, it's a thing of beauty. But it's now time for award number 3, the Season 2 of True Detective Award. What game did you really want to enjoy, but you just couldn't?
Can I go first?
Sure, go ahead.
Bloodborne.
Why not?
I couldn't get into it. The frame rate was stuttery. The combat was faster, but it felt like they just piled stuff on you, as opposed to Dark Souls, where you had to really think out 1 or 2 fights at a time. Like, this was just a bunch of people start crowding around you. It's just, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. They said it was going to be a faster, kind of more stripped down Dark Souls, and that a lot of people enjoyed it, but it definitely wasn't for everybody. So, Dave?
Metal Gear Solid for me. I'm glad I got it for free because I sat down, I played that little prequel game. I actually finished that the week before. I was all ready for it. Hadn't played a Metal Gear game since the GameCube. Was really excited, and I think especially after coming off of like GTA 5 and The Witcher, the environments didn't look that great. They weren't super fun to explore, which left the missions, which were actually a lot of fun, like the first 5. But I'm a stealth gameplay kind of person mainly, so I was using like the same tactics every time. And about 9 hours in, I was like, this is getting kind of stale. And then everything else coming out, it just really got put on the back burner. So
yeah, that's the thing, is like there's no real. It is kind of a sandbox, but there doesn't feel like there's a big incentive to really explore what it has to offer. Like there's a ton of different weapons, but my base pistol, like I can make it through almost every level. Just like the enemies are kind of dumb. It's not that hard to stealth. You can just pop everyone in the head with the tranq darts and drag them out of the way or Fulton them. And like when you can get through the hardest sections in the first, I think I've played 19 hours, you can get through the hardest sections just with the base entry level pistol, Fultoning people out, popping them in the head. It just doesn't feel like, yeah, I could do it a different way, but there's not really any reason to. And all the weapons and stuff I unlock, it happens so slowly that it doesn't really feel like that's progressing that well. And then there's just not that much there. Like it feels like the Emperor's New Clothes to me, like where I don't see what everyone sees in this game. Like I love the Metal Gear Solid games, but I don't get this one. It's just not doing it for me. Joel, what about you?
Same. Game sucks.
Oh,
I wasn't
man.
gonna go quite that
You
far.
were really excited about that game.
I was
was-
really
well,
excited.
I
Joel,
played 3 Metal Gear Solid games, and gosh, like 3 and 4 were just amazing.
Perfect.
I love them. They were amazing.
They're incredible.
If you could take out all of the open world crap in that game and just give me mission to mission to mission, the main ones, not the little like, hey, you gotta do these little extra ones that are just like, I don't know, like I liked how Bloodborne did it with you play the main game and then you had like the chalice dungeons, which are just random stuff, which is great. But like if you had to do all the random chalice dungeons in between playing the main missions, I'd be like, hell no, I don't want that, because it's just gosh, the game is so freaking easy. You can do it in your sleep. And I turned off the little mode that like alerts you when someone's like shooting at you.
It is really easy.
Yeah, you go in there with that little, it's like, they're like, oh no, we got alerted. I'll just walk over and slap you in the face and keep going.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't make any difference.
Joel, you just made me realize in the 9 hours that I played, not only did I never die, I never actually got injured badly either, like at all.
Yeah.
In 9 hours.
It's done. It's totally different from like I'm playing Just Cause 3. And in the game, you can take a lot of damage. And for that game, it's not really about if when you die, it just kind of like loses the momentum outside of the loading screens. But I'm just saying, like that kind of game, it's like you just want to be badass and just have fun. This game, it was like, all right, like there was no need to like sneak. I like found myself sneaking for the first like 4 hours and going, this is literally a waste of time. So I just ran in, slapped everybody. I wouldn't even use guns. I'd run and slap people, grab the person, run out. You're done.
Yeah.
Oh, and the running sound. What is with that?
Yeah. Like Joel, do you remember when we first got the game? You and I, we talk about like every couple of days, like, hey, how far into it are you? Like,
yeah.
We were all excited, then we got progressively like less and less. Like, I don't.
You
maybe
got
it
farther
gets
than it
better.
than I did because I was like, does it get any
did.
better? And you're like, nope. I'm like, well, that's good enough for me.
Well, it got to one part where I was like, when you first meet Quiet, there's like a little run of missions where it feels like, oh, it's time for the story now. That didn't last long, and then it was like, all right, back out into the world. I was like, oh, well.
I didn't even make it that far, so
Yeah. It had a brief moment of Metal Gear Solidness at the beginning,
Yeah.
the opening mission, and then like 10 hours in, there was also a brief few moments, which I guess for Dave would be like 18, 19 hours in. Not worth pushing through. And yeah, I don't get it. But it's now time for the Middle Child Award. The game you knew you would love, but you really don't as much as you thought you would. For me, it's Bloodborne. Joel, your face dropped a little right when I said that.
Oh no, sorry. I'm thinking of mine. Actually, I'm thinking of mine.
I really love the art style of Bloodborne. Like I like the whole thing they're going for. A faster Dark Souls sounds really fun to me. But just I bought it because I really was excited to play it with Joel, if I'm being honest. And then Dave, once he got his PS4, like I'm gonna play it with my friends because that's mostly how I did Dark Souls, which I know is not the correct way to do it, but that's how I had fun doing it. And I was all excited to do that with Bloodborne. And the multiplayer, the co-op in Bloodborne was just so broken at the beginning that it just beat my excitement down to where I just didn't have any anymore. And
That did ruin quite a bit just because like coming in late, like we got so far ahead too, and they didn't have the password co-op thing. That, I mean, if they had that from the start, I think it would have been a little bit better just because it's like, hey, because I mean, every time Dave and I play now, it spawns in, like it works, you know? So.
Yeah, it's worked every time.
That was I was pissed about that because I was like, man, I missed out on a lot of co-op right at the start. Like I practically beat the whole game and then co-op worked fine.
And that's also part of the problem is I'm not as good at those types of games as you guys. Like I've played a lot of really hard fighting games, but I don't quite have the fine motor control to be good at it. So you guys got so far ahead of me that like it wasn't as much fun on my own because everyone's just having fun in these other sections, and I'm like, I want to get there. But, I played, I think, about 30 hours. I mean, I played a lot of the game. I played over half of it, and I was enjoying it. But it just, over time, it became harder and harder to enjoy. And it kind of got to the point where I was like, I'm really only playing this now because, like, I feel obligated. Like, I felt like, Joel, I felt like you'd be disappointed in me. If I just gave up on no, I'm not kidding. I felt like you'd be disappointed in me if I gave up on the game. I was like, I'm not going to just do that. Like, no, I'm going to keep playing it. And then eventually I was like, I was like, I hope Joel doesn't care anymore because I don't. And that's when I sold it. Dave, how about you?
I want to add, though, that
the
Dark Souls 2 remake was actually really good. Like, connected every time we tried.
Yeah. Well, by the end of Dark Souls 2, like, it was, that co-op and that was a breeze. So,
well, Joel and I played the, what is it called? The Scholar of
the First Sin.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
For me, I'm kind of gonna stretch the definition of this award. I didn't know I was gonna love it, but I felt pretty good about it, and I picked Hardline for this award because I actually really enjoyed that second beta that was in February of last year. Mm-hmm. I played 25 hours of that beta, and the servers ran great. Keeping in mind that the game at the time had a higher tick rate in the beta than it would eventually have at launch. A little deceptive. The driving wasn't great, but I was like, oh, it's getting there. It's better than it was. I bet they're going to keep tweaking it before launch. And then launch came around and literally nothing had changed. In fact, the game had gone backwards. It had a lower tick rate, more grenade spam. The multiplayer just did not hold up at all. I played maybe 10 or 12 hours of it. And the single player was, I mean, it was okay. It was like a cop movie you'd watch on Netflix because it was there. I mean, it wasn't bad. It looked beautiful. They got some great screenshots from the Hardline campaign. But in a year of GTA 5 and we're playing a lot of Arma multiplayer wise, Hardline it was a disappointment after how much fun the beta was.
If you took away all the games that came out this last year, would you have enjoyed it more, or would you still be just as disappointed?
Yeah, I think I would. Just in comparison to how the beta was, like compared to the final launch product 2 months later, it was a disappointment. Yeah.
James?
I'm going to go with Super Mario Maker. I know it's a weird one, but I bought that thinking that, oh man, it's amazing. You get to build your own courses, go in and play other people's courses, see what other people created, and it just really has just sat on the shelf. Mostly because of the unlock structure that they did, where you had to play so much a day, and then the next day you had to play so much, and it was just to the point where, like, I'm not going to grind just to get to the point where I can create worlds I want to create, and it's just kind of sat, honestly.
Joel?
Well, okay. If I'm gonna, I need to say that. I need to say this. The game
confession time.
Where is it? No. Here, okay. The way you said it sounds way worse, and so the way I was gonna say is, the game you're gonna love, but like you're like, man, like it's not that I don't love it, it's that, like, man, I feel like my heart is pulling another direction. Like, I think my tastes are really moving to a different direction. Right. I'm still gonna love it, but it's actually Fallout 4.
I really
enjoy
as soon
it.
As you said what this award was, I knew that's what you were talking about.
Yeah, but I do want to clarify something, because I wonder if it's going to be a little bit different down the road. And the reason why I'm saying this is because, I mean, I can only say it from how I'm experiencing it now. But at the start of Witcher 3, other than it's a very overwhelming game at the start. I mean, Witcher 3 is huge. It's not just, hey, jump into a casual RPG. It's casual in the sense of it's not too hard, but it's like everything, tons of things to do, right? Just massive world, right? Now that I'm so far in Witcher 3, like, I'm kind of beyond the, like, story part. I'm just like, I can do what I want to do. Like, I guess I'm not tied down to any quests and stories, that it's easier for me to just continue my game in Witcher 3. And
continue on the path, one could say.
But, like, you know what I mean? Like, when it's like, I don't know, it's like you start a show and you're in season 3, like halfway through, and you're like, you don't want to go jump into another story right now, like another show. Like, I'm grinding through. I want to keep going on this show because I love it. I want to keep playing that. And it's the same with Dark Souls. Like, I cannot wait for April. Like, I think Dark Souls is really becoming my favorite game. I love that. There's something about it that I just like. Every time I'm gonna go play a game, I'm like, oh, I want to go play Dark Souls, But I'm like, I've beaten other games so many times now. But I love it. But I think it's still I think it's really overwhelming right now that when I go into it, I'm like, you really just got to just sit and go, like, I got to play for 2 hours to like really, like, every time I play it for 2 hours, I love it. But like, before I hit the X button to enter into the on the PS4 menu of Fallout, I'm just like, I feel like I'm committing a lot. Does anyone have that feeling?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
If there's any, what game is that for you guys? You're like, you're hovering on, like, what game should I play? And you're like, man, this is a commitment. Like, once you're in it, you're kind of like, oh, I like it. This is fun. I'm really enjoying it. But like,
now Joel, imagine before you're actually going to go play the game, though. First, you have to do some supply runs, disassemble some weapons, sell some gear, get your water bottles from your settlement, sell those for extra caps, buy some supplies, work on your settlement just a little bit, and then maybe go questioning, oh crap, it's 4 o'clock in the morning.
No,
I guess it's
totally
weird. I guess it's
saying,
like
Joel.
there's something about, like, with Dark Souls, it never feels like it's a very long game. It feels like I can jump in, play for 25 minutes. It's going to be great, but I'm never going to play for 25 minutes. I'll probably play for like 2 hours. But the like initial investment to just jump in, play a little bit, be done. In Fallout, you can't just play like 20 minutes and do anything. Like, same with Skyrim, it's like you jump in, you play for an hour, then you've done something. You've done a quest, you've done this or whatever. But like this, you've loaded a couple screens, you've dropped off some things, you've done the quest, So I think once I'm kind of done with Witcher, when I like get, oh gosh, the DLC. But like, once I've gotten a little bit further, I want to be able to just focus on it and really enjoy it. Like, it's great. And I'm not, like, the review is still a 9.5. It's a phenomenal game, but it's like, I have a lot of games that are at 9.9 and 10s. So there's a ton of them. So it's kind of like, yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm surprised because I'm like, every time I go to that, I want to be like, is Dark Souls 3 out yet?
Well, it's the same thing. When I discovered Oblivion, I stumbled across it, I think in like 2007. And I'd never heard of the Elder Scrolls series before. I mean, I might have heard of it in the back of my head, but like, I didn't really know anything about it. And I played so much Oblivion that year in school. Like, I played it for hours each day when I was done with homework. I totally fell into it. So when Skyrim was coming out, when Fallout 3 came out, I thought, well, this is Oblivion with guns. Like, how much better could this be? It didn't really click with me that much. Like, I played like 10 hours of it, and I was like, I actually kind of like Oblivion better. I went back to Oblivion. And then, so when Skyrim was coming out, I thought, oh my goodness, how awesome could this be? More Elder Scrolls. But that's all it was. Like, I played more. I was like, oh, well, I guess that's about what I was expecting. But like, it just, my taste had kind of moved on, and I felt the pull to other games at that point. And I feel the same thing kind of going to Fallout 4. Like, this is fun. This is a lot of fun. And like if I commit to play for it for 2 hours, I have a great time. I kind of feel like I've done this enough now. Like, my mind's not getting blown every time I play, like it's fun. It's enjoyable, but it's not pulling me like it used to.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's like, it's funny. I think I do go through a little bit of like, oh, this game's, I don't know, just the taste of it. But like, when I'm in playing, like, I've gotten to the Institute, and I'm really enjoying that part of the game. That's really cool.
I'm not there yet.
I like the voice acting, but I think I definitely would have preferred just going back to the original. Like, I kind of don't like when you tap on a character to talk, they slowly kind of turn around. I would honestly much rather than zoom up and just talk. I really would, actually. It's clunkier, but like, I don't know. It's just kind of like, I don't know. I like the style of that better, and I don't know. It's still so good, but and I'm gonna play probably more hours than I will in Witcher 3, but it's because of even the game style than anything else.
Oh yeah.
I'm almost like ashamed that I don't love him more, but I'm like,
yeah, I just want to point out, Joel, that you and James argued quite emphatically earlier last year now. You guys were the biggest Fallout fans, but I'm currently winning on the time scale. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, you're always going to win on any time scale, even if it's the game you hate.
You're not wrong.
That's not a good gauge.
Dave will hate it for 35 hours.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you like
0 out of 10. I
like Battlefield Hardline.
I've done a lot of exploring and stuff, so I haven't done much settlements. So anyway,
it's now time for the next award. The oh shit! Wow award. What game did you not expect to like at all, but you did, or what game came out of nowhere?
Rocket League. That came out of nowhere. And I usually don't like sports games. Like, I really don't. Mm-hmm. Like, I think the only game I liked sports games was an Atari baseball game. But that was just because everyone walked really wonky and it was hilarious. Yeah, but Yeah, gosh, Rocket League took over my heart.
James?
I'm gonna agree with Rocket League.
Dave?
Oh, James. Oh, what you got?
I had another one. I can't remember it now. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say Bloodborne, not because I was not expecting to not like it at all, but I thought I'd be kind of lukewarm to it. I just played with you guys until you guys got way ahead of me, and I bought it on disc as my first PS4 game to flip it. I figured within like a month and a half, and although I struggled for the first boss, I got better at the combat, and I actually really enjoyed the game, and especially the art style. I would probably finish Bloodborne just to enjoy the visuals, at 19 FPS, but still enjoy the visuals.
Close. He's getting close.
I remembered my other one. Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. That was just It was just a beautiful game. It was a beautiful game to play.
Mine is Battlefront. Going from the what game did you not expect to like at all? I wasn't really in the mood for more Battlefield, and especially I loved Battlefront and Battlefield back in the day, but I wasn't really in the mood for a cut down version of Battlefield with not a lot of content, just kind of getting dropped out quickly. It felt like it was just getting ground out to coincide with the movie. So my expectations were pretty low. And it was a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be, partly because the game actually worked when it came out. But partly like they got the nostalgia pretty right. Like for me, it's not much more than just a fun, casual nostalgia shooter.
Now, do you still have it?
No.
Oh. Do you think you'll pick it up again if it's like really dirt cheap just to have an extra game to play with us?
It depends on dirt
Or
cheap.
have you kind of done with it?
Well, I'm probably done because there's so many other games coming out this next year that I want to play with the group that like maybe if you guys are still playing Battlefront 6 months from now and it's cheap, but like I'd much rather be playing Badlands.
Everyone
Badlands?
prefers to be playing Wildlands.
I think it's
I
Badlands.
have to agree with you, Jeremiah. I've actually had a lot more fun playing that than I thought I would.
Well, I was saying that said, I played 15 hours or so, and I was like, I'm done. I'm happy done. Like, I'm not a complain about it. I'm just, I got what I wanted out of it. I'm cool to put it down.
It would be awesome to have one more person for cargo, because then we could literally stack the teams, man. Because Joy plays.
Well, I don't know if that'd be called
we're getting pretty
stacking
good at
the
it.
teams.
Well, I mean, stack.
It's called setting us up for a big downfall.
We'd have a lot of us there. That's what's important.
We can communicate with each other. But the visuals
over PSN chat. I mean, as much as you can communicate over
that crackle.
It's like you're sitting right there in Joel's living room because you can hear everything coming out of his speakers. Joel, the other thing sportscasters have? It's that big mic that goes right in front of their mouth, like it's resting on their lips. I'm going to find out a way to make one work with your PlayStation headset, but I'm going to get a splitter so Joy can hear too.
Okay.
That way it's social, but then all we'll hear is, hey guys, what's going on?
I'm going to bring this up again later, but I really regret buying Bloodborne on a disc now because I'm playing it. But whenever I want to play it, I have to like find out where the case is and eject it, and like messing with the discs. I had forgotten about that. It's been years playing on PC because I use discs. So I really regret buying Bloodborne on a disc because I'm actually enjoying it and I want to keep it now.
Up next.
One thing I was going to say about Battlefront. Well, visuals every time I've played they've never not impressed me. Like,
it's kind of hard. It's hard to believe, honestly. Like even after playing it a lot, it's like surprising every time you play. It looks amazing.
You forget kind of that you're actually just going into a simulated world because the snow looks so good, the grass looks so good. It's just amazing.
Tune in later in the episode for Battlefront on the Potato Masher. All right, up next is the Why Doesn't Anybody Think My Child is Beautiful award. The game you talked about a lot that you wish more people played. James.
This game technically didn't originate in 2015, but it was one of the games that I mean, it came to the consoles in 2015, and you guys actually played it. Shovel Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Joel liked it. Dave watched it being played, and I watched Jeremiah begrudgingly try to play through it. He's like, "This is not my kind of game."
I didn't say it like that. I was very nice about it. I don't really play side-scrollers. I wasn't
so duty animated game.
I didn't complain about that at all. I don't. Side-scrollers aren't really my thing.
I agree with Jeremiah there. Like I think I'm past side-scrollers now because I've just moved on. I think.
I mean, I'll always go back and play like original Super Mario Brothers. Like I love that, of course, but I can see why Shovel Knight is a really good game. I don't really play many of those anymore.
Let's talk about this concept of moving on. It's almost like, oh no, I'm past those 2D games.
No, not superior. No, I don't mean any sort of superiority thing. I just mean like my tastes have kind of changed to the point where like, I remember I used to like it. I used to get a lot of fun out of it. It just doesn't really do anything for me anymore.
Well, I mean, especially with so many games out, you do kind of have to pick and choose. You can't play all of the games. I mean, out of all of us, I mean, James collects the most games. You know, I pay the most for the games, but James has the most games. And there's no way you're going to play through all of them. It's fun to dip into certain games, but when you think about playing through an entire game, like, I like 3D games a lot. You know, like, the one game that's 2D that I'm excited to play is that I think it's called Salt and Sanctuary. It's like pretty much 2D Dark Souls. It looks just really interesting. And if it's awesome, I'll probably play the whole thing. But like, yeah, I mean, you do have to pick and choose. Like, I don't have like, Dave is playing how many hours now in Fallout? Like, that's a crap load of hours.
I was gonna say, I'm the one that could play like 3 games a year and still play like 60 hours every 2 weeks with those 3 games.
If Dave just hacked his game and put all lumber and all the tools into it, he would have an extra 60 hours he could play Knights of the Old Republic. Like, he could play all these extra, you know. But if you love a certain game, like, you know, it's like you only have a certain amount of time. At least I do. Like, I'm gonna go down and play. Like, I know I'm gonna love playing Dark Souls, or I know I'm gonna play loving this game. Do I want to play a game that like everyone says is really good, but like, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like ordering food from a restaurant. You tend to order similar stuff because you know you're gonna like it. It's harder to order outside of the menu that you usually go to because you're like, well, this always works. You know, like, I always like this. So
what's your choice? What's your choice then, Joel?
Mine would be everybody's gone to the Rapture.
Mm-hmm.
I know I kind of spoke
Have you
about
played that yet,
quite a bit.
Dave?
Literally just the first half hour. No,
did you play it? I watched you download it. Did you launch it?
We'll get to this later. This will come up again later.
And
oh boy.
For me, it's just, once again, less now, but if we look at the entire year, it would be, anybody want to play some DayZ? Just real quick. Anybody? DayZ? Anybody?
Oh, is that me? Is that me saying
more
that to
James
you?
this year than Dave?
It's become more James, but earlier in the year, like the first half of 2015, it was definitely me. We stopped playing.
I always join you.
That is true.
200 hours within a few months.
Yeah. James is my loyal loot partner.
Mine is Project Cars, because it's been described as the Dark Souls of racing games, which I don't really like describing things as the Dark Souls of something. But it kind of is in the sense that it's not there to hold your hand or explain to you why the mechanics are the way they are. Like, you're not going to enjoy this game if you don't enjoy cars, have a basic understanding of them, and want to put yourself through the ringer to get better at them. Like, that's who it's for. It's for people who don't need to be told why they want to play the game. They just know they want to based on what it is. And it does an excellent job of that. And it's really, really pretty. Joel doesn't like the backgrounds. He came over and played it in 4K. I thought he would be more impressed, to be honest. But the cars are the best looking cars in any game ever. Just like the model, the detail in the models.
I like the Rocket League cars the best.
Anyway,
sexy little
up
things.
Next, I'll go first on this one. The Shut the Hell Up Already award. The game you wish one of the other hosts would stop talking about. Mine's Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. I'm going to play it at some point, guys. You don't have to remind me every 6 months, okay?
Really? Because you haven't played it yet.
I said I was going to play it. I'm going to play it.
I paid money for it. I'm going to play it.
I did. It's on Joel's account.
You know, I'm curious about when we
I'm curious about
we all
you.
tend to kind of promote certain games, you know, we like and stuff. A lot of the promotion why I try to push like, oh, you guys should try it. And I usually don't tell people like, go try this game, because you're either already getting it or like it's because like, especially with Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, the game like Soma, they're like at the end I want to just talk about it with someone, and it's such a cool twist, and the story is just really emotional.
It stays with you.
It does. It stays with you, and then it's like I guess I just really want to share it with someone, and so So I generally push those kind of games because I'm like, oh, I want to see, like, what did you think of that? Same way I told you about the movie Sicario. It's like, oh, dude, like, wasn't that nuts? So,
I've seen it twice in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, as opposed to like, because even something like Fallout 4, it's you can kind of talk about like review some of the story, but there's so many stories in the game. It's since it's open world, you can do anything. But like
the chances are
like,
you're at the same place anyway in that game. It's hard to have a conversation.
I was gonna tell you guys. I don't know if this is the right time to talk about it in detail, but I'm kind of been thinking I'm going to try some of those games you guys have been talking about, like Everybody's Gone to the Rapture and Soma and stuff, because I've kind of been in a funk lately where I just don't really want to play anything. Like it happens usually every couple of years where I'm not really in the mood to play anything. I played Grand Theft Auto with the crew because it's just hanging out, like it's hanging out with friends. So I don't really think about what we're playing so much, but I'm just not really feeling most of the games I've currently got going on. So I think, well, maybe it's time to just try some different stuff. I don't know.
I mean, don't go into expecting to do a lot of like finding lore and stuff like that. I mean, there is some really cool story to it, but
about that.
Hey,
it's really just look at it as an artistic piece. Honestly,
I could do that. Mm-hmm.
You know what I would do is probably not for Everybody's Gone to the Rapture because it's really it's not as much fun for someone to just watch you play that game. You'll understand when you play it. But if you play Soma, if you play it on PS4 because I think I have it on there, you can use it. I'll do the screen share and I'll watch you play that game if you want. Because
sure.
Oh gosh, I wanted that game to keep going. Oh, it was delicious.
When you do, obviously we haven't shut up talking about it.
Sorry.
But when you do play Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, make sure you have your new speaker set up.
Why?
Because just the way they use sound as a game mechanic is it's really cool.
So I shouldn't use headphones. I should use speakers.
You can actually use headphones. I've used headphones and I actually really enjoyed it. It's just the way they use it to like it's kind of fluid. Like the music changes based on getting closer to something. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of cool.
All right.
I think for this award for me,
yes.
I'd have to go with guys. What if every damn game had the same combat as Dark Souls 1? All of them. All of them. Every single one. I actually...
Mario sucks.
Don't forget. No. Just stick with it a little longer. Like, I think you'll get it. 30, 40 more hours max, you'll get it. It'll just click one day.
This game is like the Dark Souls of Mario.
You're like 400 hours in and it just clicks and you enjoy it.
400 hours.
I actually been playing some more Witcher this week, and after playing some Bloodborne recently with Joel, I'm like, the combat in Witcher 3 is actually fantastic. I think it's really good.
Let's not dig up this old rusty hoe.
I was speaking of games we want people to shut the hell up about.
Your turn comes in a second. I was looking at the combat in Witcher, and I'm like, it's definitely better than Shadows of Mordor and far better than Assassin's Creed. Just because it's not Dark Souls doesn't mean it's not good. Like, it's really cinematic, and it's actually, you have a lot of options. You have a little less control over your character, but it's really good. I think it's, as far as depth goes, for me, it's like the Dark Souls series, Witcher 3, and then probably, Shadows of Mordor is good, but it's still kind of like, almost like a timed game. Like, it's not really like you have a lot less control. It's just more about timing. But
it's the Warner Brothers. It's the Warner Brothers combat thing that Mad Max and Batman and everything has. Joel, what's yours?
Arma. But I put that. I was like, because I can't really think of anyone. Like, I mean, because I never minded Dave talking about Witcher because I do love Witcher, right. And so Arma's more of just like, put it in there. But I've stopped my hating on that. I internally hate it, but I don't
you don't have to hate the game without not wanting people to shut the hell up.
we were antagonistic about it with each other for a while, but we've come to realize like it's just not your type of game, and I don't want to talk about it with you anymore. Not in a mean way.
No, you guys never bothered me. You guys never did anything. It was more me being a dick.
Gotcha. Well,
you guys, but I've stopped that.
I don't want to talk about it anymore with you, just because I know it. Like, there's no way I can explain it where you'll all of a sudden go, oh, well, that does sound amazing. Like. That's just not going to happen. It's not your thing. And anything you say, I'm going to want to argue with because I'm like, no, but you don't understand, but you don't understand, but you don't understand, but you don't understand. And you're going to be like, yeah, it sucks. No, it sucks.
Well, although I did tell Dave, if he would help me build this one mission I really want to do, I will lead it. I have a mission I really want to make.
You don't know how to play.
No, I know how to play it, but no, not everything. Yeah, I know how to play it.
Moving along, guys. Moving along.
Yeah, we're just gonna, as friends, we're just gonna.
But I didn't want to throw. I didn't want to. It is a tie between Geralt and Bloodborne, Dark Souls 1, 2,
right,
Dark Souls 3 coming up.
Soulsness.
From Software Games.
All right, Dave, we lost your video.
Skype is back. Just being weird.
All right, we got to speed up some here. But Up next is the Guilt Trip Award, the game you got a good deal on, and now you feel bad about it. Dave, would yours be the Witcher 3 box code you got with NVIDIA? Because that's what mine is.
I did feel really bad for that, but I made up for it by buying my wife a copy on PS4. So I paid.
Nice.
Well, crap, that was on sale too. Man, I do feel bad still. It was only $40.
I kind of read this one differently. Is this about like getting a game for too cheap and then realizing it's awesome?
Yes.
So you feel.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was the other way around.
Oh, gotcha.
And the one I was going to say is Metal Gear. Except I didn't get a deal on it. I paid.
Okay, well
that bitch.
That works for Joel, but my actual choice for this one was City Skylines, because I pre-ordered it knowing it would probably be pretty good, and I saved $5 off, and it was what, $30 at launch, Jeremiah, on Steam, right?
Yeah.
So I paid like $25 for it by pre-ordering, and then got like 230 hours out of it last year and loved it. Like, it was really good. I constantly felt bad, like it's already $30, and like I'm like taking some off the top then, and
James?
I'm going to say Arkham Knight
Mhm.
because I got it through Amazon for the PS4.
Uh-huh.
I'm guessing it's a pricing error they had. I paid $16.99 for the premium edition with like the season pass
Oh
and
my
everything,
God.
like the
Does
$90
sound
version.
cheap. Yeah, that sounds cheap.
So it's like, is this a legit? I mean, obviously Amazon's legit, but it's like, did they make a mistake? I mean, it didn't stay up very long at that price, but I bought it. And I enjoyed all the season pass stuff, all the costumes stuff, the DLC.
And we can't really ask Joel because we've just lost him from the
I feel like
call.
Skype's freaking out because my camera just turned off by itself.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. But,
I can probably answer our next award though for Joel
okay.
if we just move on.
What about this one? Can you answer this one?
Well, I mean, he did the opposite, so does that work?
All right. So you want
He's
the next
probably
one?
gonna say Bloodborne because he didn't pay $200 for it instead of $60. Although pretty much any game that Joel buys, he buys at least 3 copies.
Yeah,
so
I was
he
gonna
should
say
never
like,
feel guilty.
yeah, I don't think Joel could answer this question because he buys it either at full price or on multiple platforms at launch. So
A
All right,
weird
Joel,
stranger
back.
broke our
Sorry.
internet feed.
What's
Go ahead.
your answer, Joel?
I was
What's
going to
your-
say Metal Gear. Like,
Well, I mean,
right,
what's-
yeah.
Now
Did
that
you-
you have context, what's your answer?
Yeah, now that you know what it's supposed to be, what the type of question.
Actually, I have another
I don't
one.
have any game I get like that I
you don't
search
feel
out
guilty
like
about getting
no.
Rocket League on
Rocket
PSN
League.
for-
Rocket League
for
free.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Yeah.
bought all the DLC.
I guess I
I'm
don't feel
assuming.
guilty because I never would have thought of getting it. So it was like I'm so grateful that I have it for free, like that I got it, that it was presented to.
you're so
presented to me.
thankful.
I am.
I mean,
I'm
you don't
resentful.
you don't really have to be guilty.
Speaking of
I'm
which,
not
we're going to
guilty.
go right into the next award, the Corporate Shill Award. You like it, Joe Everyman likes it. Way to conform, you sellouts. Can we all just agree that Rocket League is the game, or do
No.
people have other ones? No. All right, mine's
No.
Rocket League.
You're Rocket League.
The
I
game
mean,
that literally I haven't heard anyone go, yeah, I just don't really like that game. Like anyone who's played it goes, nope, this is a lot of fun.
but
This is great.
there's no controversy for Rocket League. though.
There was
My
no
answer-
expectation.
That's true.
My answer for this one, for the Corporate Shill Award, is I freaking love Battlefront. I've got like
Same here.
I've got like 40 hours in Battlefront, and I hate EA season pass policy. I scoffed at Hardline Premium and feel bad for the developers having to make it for 10,000 global players. And yet, as soon as the announcement's ready, I'm buying Battlefront Premium because I love the game. It's really good. I'm literally afraid to like talk about it on YouTube or anything because you're instantly gonna get accused of being a corporate shill sellout. But
Yeah,
I
how many
love
times-
the game.
How many times, Dave, have I gone like, "King, dang it! Like, why have they not told what the next DLC maps are?" Like, I've never done that in any game. Like, give me DLC. I need it. I'll pay whatever. It's Star Wars.
Part of that is normally when you buy a game, it has more content with it. That might be
Yeah.
why you're like, dang it, tell me what I can buy to add to this.
Well, I guess I'm
Wait.
just so excited because the maps that I do have, I love so much that I'm like, oh, more
Yeah, they're all
Star
good.
Wars. Yeah.
there aren't very many of them.
It's
that are
not. It's a little undercut on content compared to other shooters, and very undercut compared to Battlefront 2. But to me, because I like barely played the earlier Battlefronts. I didn't have online back then, so like I had nothing to really compare it to, and I had no real shooter I was playing last year. Wasn't playing Battlefield anymore, so that plus the visual quality, the sound quality, I've just really enjoyed it. But yeah, like looking at all the premium stuff, Joel. Even in Battlefield, I never like, even when I was doing Battlefield videos, I never went to the premium schedule and like checked the calendars to see what's coming. I just, as DLCs were announced and trailers came out, I would kind of watch them and talk about them and whatnot and get excited then. But I found myself a few weeks ago on the Battlefront official EA branded website trying to figure out if there was any news about the season pass stuff because I'm really excited for it. I was like, this never happened before for any EA games.
James, what are you a shill for?
I'm gonna go with the same thing, honestly. And honestly, it was the biggest naysayer when we played the demo. I was like, that's boring, not my thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then playing a few missions like Harga, it was just like click. And then I literally had just gotten my disc from GameFly and played a couple matches. Like, I'll just buy it now.
Mm-hmm.
And so went ahead and bought it.
Cool.
We've had some really fun games. We've had some really good nights too.
The smaller modes in Battlefront remind me of Halo, but with like a Star Wars, really nice Star Wars coat of paint.
I'd agree with that. Up next is the Do You Even Make Games, Bro award. The game that was a total abomination of a launch. Dave, what you got?
I'll let you guys have the obvious answers later because I'm going to pick actually Just Cause 3 for this one.
That was my answer.
Oh, crap.
My answer.
Oh, crap. So
mine's a little bit less than yours because I got it a little bit later. The load times, that has not bothered me. It's never corrupted or freaked out. It's only the freaking social thing where like if it disconnects from the online leaderboard thing, it just pauses the game and you click, oh, I'm gonna play offline. Sweet. And then once it connects online again, it just does it automatically and then it disconnects again, and that's been frustrating. So I hope that stops.
For me, the reason I chose Just Cause 3 was because on launch, like the launch review week, IGN of all places warned that console owners were buying a greatly inferior and broken game compared to the PC version, which was also pretty broken. Like that's a pretty damning statement from IGN, like right there.
When you're broke is broke, that's broke.
Yeah.
Well, like,
yeah.
because it was just the stuff like you would think the obvious answer is Arkham Knight, but Arkham Knight was a great game on 2 platforms. The port for the PC was completely broken because it was offhanded to a studio that didn't have the time or the resources or the skills to do it. To me, that's a different thing. Just Cause 3 just wasn't even close to done. Like, frame drops into like the low teens. It freezing for like a second and a half on the Xbox One.
Yeah.
3-minute load times. It's like, guys, you can't do this. Like, this is wrong. No. I played it last night. It's no longer crashing every 10 minutes for me, so that's good. But, whew. James, what's your answer?
I'm going to go with 2, as I do. Everybody in the chat's mentioning it, H1Z1. It was just a horrible launch for me.
Did that come out this year though?
No, it was technically into last year.
I mean, sorry. Yeah.
No, did it come out in January?
No,
it was like
November.
No.
I thought it was January.
It was January.
Really?
2015.
Oh yeah, you're right. I guess
Okay.
I thought it.
It was like
the
second week of January, yeah.
Okay. All right.
I mean, this obviously server or the first night was pretty bad.
It launched in the second week
I don't
of
know
January.
who played the first night, but
I got
just
in and ran around for. No, that was the next day. Never mind.
it never got any better for me. It felt really stale. And
Yeah.
apparently the hackers got worse and worse, and yeah, it's just not good. The other one I would say was Tony Hawk.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah. There were some great
Yeah,
YouTube videos from that, though.
I did rent that. I've actually got it
Did
sitting in
you?
the living room because I forgot to take it out of my queue for GameFly.
Uh-huh.
I've got to send it back. Although the patch did help a little bit, I guess, from the glitching. The fact that after you do the main tutorial, you're automatically online watching other people skate, and you have to deal with getting online just to go into another mission is so stupid. And the missions are just really bare. I actually went and bought Tony Hawk Project 8 just to have a little bit of nostalgia. I mean, I've got Tony Hawk HD. Yeah, that game was pretty bad. And of course, there was the Batman PC.
The Batman.
Everyone remembers that.
Up next
Obvious answer.
is the no, really. I'm working on Norman Award. What game do you still claim to be playing, but you aren't really? I'll go first. Cities Skylines. I keep thinking like, oh yeah, I'm gonna play that again. It's like, oh no, it's been like 6 months, and I keep wanting to go back to it. It's such a relaxing game. I just need to put on like my chill Spotify playlist, and I should do that. I should do that on the night so I don't feel like playing anything. I should just kick back and
Get creative, yeah.
make a new city. But what about you, Dave?
Alien Isolation.
I was gonna say if the answer is not Alien Isolation, you're a dirty damn liar.
That game. I mean, it's from a developer that Creative Assembly. Like, I love their
Right.
Total War games, and for them to come out of the gate with this first anything besides Total War game in, gosh, like 12 years, and it was AAA quality. It's beautiful. I love the movies, and they nailed the aesthetics. And to me, that's a big part of my enjoyment for games. I'm so immersed. I think the problem is that for me, it really is just a stressful game to play. Like, scary games don't really like scare me jump scare style. It's that from the moment that I launch the game, I am just like 100% focused, and it's like draining to play, like literally draining. I love the game, but I can't do it for more than an hour or two at a time because it's just really stressful because I'm so focused. I still want to go back to it, but it's hard to choose Alien Isolation when I have 30 other games that don't stress you out to play.
James?
Well, right now it's The Witcher, but I swear I'm going to get over that hurdle of being able to put a few hours into getting through.
James, can I recommend something on that I think would actually help? Like, not to say you're bad at it, but I would put the difficulty down low. Just do it. Just put it down really low and just start cramming through it. There's so many hours left of the game
Start cramming through it.
Yeah, I'm serious. Like,
Yeah,
because
I agree
I
with
got to, because some of the bosses later on that are just like, what the hell? Like, are really hard. That like pissed me off so much that I'm like, I just put it down lower, got past them. I was like, because I hate like doing that, but I'm like, I love the game now. I'm like, I don't want to be stuck on something just for the sake of being annoyed. So if that helps you to get past a couple hours, just enjoy the game, it's worth it than not playing the game, I think.
Well, I'm not really finding it that hard. I'm just looking at all these missions that are like, you should be level 20 to do this mission. I'm like, I'm level 3.
You do get missions in the game that are like level 29. I'm like, what? This is the first area. Like, what is this?
So that's a little overwhelming, but
Right.
I'll finish it one day.
You know,
I
James,
swear.
because I take so long to play, most games, like, big RPGs anyway, but Witcher in particular, I got some quest the first time I arrived in Velen that I wouldn't play for like another 70 hours of gameplay. Like, they'd be so far buried because they were so high level, and it just took me so long to come back to.
Joel, what about you?
Honestly, I really can't think of one. I've been thinking about all day. Like, I can't think of any game that I say I'm going to play and I'm not going to play.
Halo 4. Sorry,
No.
Jeremiah.
No, because I mean, like with Batman, Arkham Knight, I'm still playing through that slowly. Like, I really love the game, but it's on PC, so I just don't play it as much as I would.
Right.
I'm playing Knights of
Okay.
the Old Republic. I'm still chugging through that. Each time I play it for about an hour and a half. I'm making my way through. I'm gonna finish it because I love it. Yeah, I really can't think of any game that I said I was gonna try to
Okay,
play.
That's fine. That's fair. Up next is the Better Late Than Never Award. A game that didn't even come out in 2015, but you still played it like it was a new release. Mine was Forza Horizon 2. That's a really fun open world racing game. Like it's
It's a good mix. It's a good mix of sim and casual too.
yeah, and it
It's
lets you
weird
do
how
enough
they do
enough
that.
modifications. You can do some really stupidly entertaining stuff. Like Steven and I, we made Acura Integras with very narrow power band, 500 horsepower front wheel drive Integras. And like they just don't drive correctly. We made supercars with 1100 horsepower that was like literally impossible to go around corners. Like you press the throttle and all the tires spin and you just shoot in a straight line like a bullet at 230 miles an hour into a wall for hours. Like the game just lets you do all kinds of stuff. You'll just be like listening to classical music flying through a vineyard in like an old Land Rover with 700 horsepower. Like this is just a fun game. Dave, what about you?
For me, it would be Shadows of Mordor. I didn't actually even start playing it until like late February last year, which is right before all the big games started launching, GTA 5 and all. And I was looking at Steam just now, and I played 33 hours. I got exactly to the halfway point, and the last time that I launched Shadows of Mordor, 33 hours in, was literally the day before Witcher 3 came out, was the last time it was ever launched. And I mean, I was right at the halfway point, and I played like an hour and a half past the halfway point, and my enjoyment was dropping off rapidly, so I probably won't finish it. But those 33 hours, like I love that. It was a lot of fun. I actually had a problem where it had that like ranking system for enemies, and I kept almost wiping out the entire like enemy ranks before I would go on to the missions that would actually require that. It was so much fun just to go after them.
James?
I'm actually going to agree with you on that game, Dave. Or Shadows of Mordor.
Yeah.
I actually really enjoyed that, and I only started playing like a few weeks ago. But the game that I was going to list is Trials Fusion. Joel knows all about that.
That'll come up in the next category.
That's going to be in the next category.
Joel?
The only one I can really think of is really Dark Souls 2 when it got re-released on PS4.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, you certainly did play that.
I played through it on 360. Played through it with you on PC.
That's not really.
You played it like it was a new release. Like that was all you wanted to play.
Kind of,
yeah, it counts. It counts.
Played it fully again, like 75 hours on the PS4, and then I got Joy a copy, and she's playing through it again with me. We're gonna play through
goodness.
it
does Knights of the Old
I'm not
Republic
making fun of you. I'm just like, oh my goodness, that's so much Dark Souls.
Yeah, I guess Knights of the Republic 2. That would count too.
Up next is the wave your controller in the air, destroy it like you just don't care award, which was made just for James. The game that you played the most intensely. James, why don't you talk about Trials Fusion?
Well, see, when I bought the game, I was afraid to buy it, honestly, because I knew Joel played it, and I knew that it was going to become a competitive thing, and I didn't want to really compete against him.
Really? Was that actually an issue?
Yeah, and until I started beating some of your scores, I was like, oh, this is a thing.
This is a thing.
And so I went and beat quite a few of Joel's scores, and then he would beat it back, and just a lot of back and forth. And I happened to be at his house, and he literally had just beat my score. It was like so frustrating. And we had a few people. Shane was actually in town. Amelia was in town. John and Debbie were there. And I literally sat for hours working on just one level. It was like
4 hours straight.
I don't think it was 4 hours. I think it was like 2 hours.
It was a long time, James. Because Joy took a nap. Like I took a nap too.
Joy takes a nap anytime.
I know, but still, I slept for a good long while. I woke up refreshed, and you were still playing.
But yeah, to the point. I mean, Joel's controllers are old to their defense.
As old as a PS4 controller can be. So
a launch day PS4 controller.
Okay, a 2-year-old
to the point where I played so intensely that the little rubber ring that's on top of the thumbsticks ended up ripping badly. So I literally destroyed Joel's controller playing that game. But I beat his score, and
I haven't been able to beat it since.
That's amazing.
But a close second would definitely be Rocket League. I can barely use his hand after I'm done playing at the end of the night, just because my finger's like this. I'm like, ugh.
I'll just dive in here with what I affectionately call Grunt League, because of the noises that we all make while we're playing. And after having a PS4 for most of last year, I've almost gotten over my controller grip being so ridiculous. I just always play mouse and keyboard, so when I would play with the controller, I would just grip it really tightly. Well, Rocket League's the one game where that still happens. I have a death grip on that controller. I get if I feel like
I'm squeezing one of those hand weights the whole time.
Yeah, if I even I'm like ka-chunk. I mean, it's really intense. So Grunt League remains my controller crushing game.
Nice. Mine is going to be the hunting pack game mode in GTA Online. The first night we played that, I just found some of the clips the other night. At one point, I'm just yelling, "My controller is so slick with sweat right now!" It's just Joel. Have you played this mode?
No.
It's like you've seen Speed, right? The movie Speed with
so good.
So in Hunting Pack,
that's fun.
You've got a bus or a taco truck or some big heavy vehicle.
Fire truck.
I affectionately call it taco truck mode.
Wait, it's taco truck mode?
Yeah, taco truck mode.
Oh, I always thought that's what it was called.
The first time we were playing it, there's one point where Dave gets hit. He's driving a fire truck. He gets hit. Another car it bounces the front of the truck in the air. Another car goes underneath him, bounces the fire truck vertically up into the air. You're just driving and cars are just catapulting past you and flipping off walls and stuff because everyone's just hitting each other so hard.
And you can hear the bomb beeping too, in the air, deet, 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 as it flips.
And then, every time he slows down, everyone's trying to hit him on both teams to make him go faster to try to slow him down more. And everyone's just yelling and screaming and giggling. Every time I play that, it's just so edge of your seat. Yes.
Man, the night we discovered that, that was glorious. Wait, Dave, you came in late to that too.
Yeah, I
We were
came in
driving
late.
taco trucks without you.
I came in late
Yeah,
and I destroyed. I was the first one to beat the mode.
You were,
wasn't I?
you were the fire truck first, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was.
You were a glorious driver that night.
I was the
Oh, yeah.
transporter. Yeah, I was.
Transporting that water. Big man.
All right. Who else?
Oh, I didn't mind. It would be a Shovel Knight. Dude, that game, sons of mother bitches. That game. James would watch me play through on PS4, and he was crying, laughing because I'm like, shit, come on.
I was telling Joel, it's funny when you play by yourself. For me, I was just angry when I died, and shooting out expletives. But when someone's watching you, it's kind of fun, even though it's just torture. I mean, it's like watching someone play Bloodborne and watching them die 20, 30 times. It's frustrating, but it's fun. And yeah, that was a good time. Good time, Joel. Thanks for that.
You're welcome.
All right. It's now time for the Holy Trinity Award. Your 3 top games from this year that without them, life would have no meaning. Joel, what you got?
Bloodborne, Witcher 3, and Soma.
Nice.
Okay.
Really?
Soma's
Wow.
that high.
Oh gosh.
Well, he just finished it, so give him a month.
No,
Okay.
I've been playing it. I've been playing it for quite a while.
For what's worth, I don't quite buy into the Joel hype algorithm that James does quite as much. It's there a little bit, but I know you
Joel-
really like this game.
Okay,
Joel hype scale.
I'm honest. I'm very honest when it comes out after like 20 hours, and it's like this just game's crap. Because usually a game, you don't start a game, play 20 hours, and go, this game's amazing, and then all of a sudden at 25 hours, you're like, this is horrible. That doesn't really happen very often. So I usually trust the fact that if a game's good for 20 hours of my life, it's probably going to be a really good game.
Right.
But Soma was it was incredible, guys. It was incredible. The story is just like, man, it was like Everybody Had Gone to Rapture, but I think a little bit BioShock. The story was really long. It was a really, I wanted to keep going because I was just like, I'm really invested. Like those games, I eat up. Like that's what I cannot wait for PlayStation VR or any VR game. Like a game like that, I turn all the lights off. I just want to immerse myself into a game like that. It's fantastic.
Cool. James?
I'm gonna say Rocket League, Fallout, just because I'm still gonna like it, even though it might not be as good as Witcher, honestly.
Mhm.
And GTA.
All right. Dave?
I think when you've named a game the best game that you've literally ever played, you kind of have to give it your top for game of the year that it comes out. So obviously the first answer is The Witcher 3. Second though is actually The Witcher 3 Hearts of Stone, like the expansion pack.
No. One
Son
game,
of a
Dave.
bitch,
One
Dave.
game.
Son of a
no,
bitch.
it's one game.
It's a completely separate storyline, and I can explain why too. I was not going to not enjoy the
We're
main quest.
not gonna take it.
I was not gonna not enjoy the main quest for The Witcher 3, having read all the books and all. But I can still see some like thematic issues with the last chapter being a little bit rushed, and some character development for the enemies in the last chapter and whatnot. All of that was solved in Hearts of Stone. The Odim as a character was one of the best villains I've ever seen in a game. I was reading some of the books, like you can like research before the final encounter in Hearts of Stone to like learn more about this character, and like reading the books, I literally got chills multiple times. Like the character was so well written and so well developed that yeah, an expansion pack is my second best game of the year. Like if you were to say like what games you get taken away from you that you played last year, I'd lose City Skylines first. I'd lose Arma for Hearts of Stone. All 15 hours of it. It was incredible.
15 hours. You played more.
Okay, so what are your other two?
I actually made a list of 4 because I knew that you guys were going to complain.
Release your rational.
That's your blatant violation of the rules. Yes. All right,
Number
anyway.
You're all wrong, but number 3 is Fallout 4, which I've been pleasantly surprised at in almost every way. It still has the wooden character faces, some awkward dialogue, voice acting is not great, but the gameplay, the shooting is it feels like an actual shooter. I hated the combat in 3, honestly. It was an obstacle in the way of exploring. Talked about it all before. Fallout 4, fantastic. And why would they add crafting? Why would they do that to me? They're horrible people. And then number 4, City Skylines. The SimCity that we wish we had years ago.
Mine is Forza 6, which is the best racing game I've played in years, and I'm so close to buying a steering wheel. I've been so close to buying a steering wheel like 4 or 5 times.
It's working.
Jeremiah,
It's
you forgot to name Need for Speed earlier. Is one of your we'll get back to
I had totally forgotten about it. I completely forgot about it. Do we have
We'll get back to that.
Do
Go
we
ahead
have
and
a
name-
Burn in Hell award? The Witcher 3, which I agree with Dave. It's hard for, I hate having like my favorite one thing. I'm really good at like my top few things, but like I have a hard time saying
locked into something.
this is, except for my marriage and friendship with you, you dirty man. But The Witcher 3, I think I am comfortable in saying that is the best game. No, it's not the best game I've ever played. It's my favorite game I've ever played.
Huh.
And to me, there's a difference. But I mean, it's not a huge difference, but there's a difference. But
I can see that, yeah.
And then the next one is GTA Online. Mostly just because here's where we get sappy. The gameplay is really fun, and we were debating this all on Skype earlier today. I feel like it's the most complete version of the game, and I've owned it on, all 3 generations. I count PC to be a different generation than PS4. I've owned it on all the generations, and I think the PC version is the most complete. And I think they've added so much to it this year that it's really, really amazing, and it's the most consistently fun multiplayer I've done. I've done 210 hours this year. But it's just a game that I can play with pretty much anybody. Like I can play it by myself, and I do. I play it just with Debbie pretty frequently, or with the whole group when they want to get together, and I can always hop in and do something. And that's what I want out of multiplayer games. Like, it can be more casual, or it can be more hardcore. It can be a lot of things. Like I've talked all about this before, but I felt very fulfilled in my multiplayer gaming this year because of GTA Online. There was no other multiplayer game that really grabbed me like that. I really love Rocket League, but it didn't grab me in the same way that GTA Online did.
So now do you want to go back to your Need for Speed?
I don't.
Or would that go under?
Which one would that go under?
The season 2 of True Detective
Award. Yes, Need for Speed. Ugh. There's so many sad Need for Speed fans trying to stay positive about it in the subreddit and trying to convince themselves that handling model isn't. Dave, I take it back. I take it back about Hardline. I was wrong earlier. Need for Speed is the worst handling model of any game.
I
probably
thought
ever
Hardline
played.
was worse after playing the Xbox version.
The thing is, you can do other stuff in Hardline. In
Oh.
Need for Speed, all
Okay,
you
yeah.
can do is be in the car.
At least you can flip
now, like I have a projector, and it does have additional input latency with a projector, but it's not this bad. Like you go to turn, and it feels like there's a half second before the car does anything, and then it just pitches itself into the turn so hard it hits the wall. Some of the game modes are at direct odds with their objectives. Like the gameplay is at direct odds with the gameplay objective. Like Drift Train, you're supposed to stay in a tight group with everybody. If you get too far away from them, you don't get points. You get too far ahead of them, you don't get points. If you're anywhere near them, they slam into you constantly and you lose the points. Like every time I played this, I was like, who tested this? Like, and then it was supposed to be the most in-depth customization of any Need for Speed game. Most of the cars only can put like half the parts on them, and they have 1 or 2 options. Like the options that are there look really good, but they've added so many since launch, but still then it's like, guys, you can't possibly think. Like when you said this was going to be the best Need for Speed game ever, the most in-depth customization, like a throwback to the underground games. Like this can't be the game Ghost Games was planning on making. Like this had to have been rushed out or something. Anyway, it's now time for the 15th award.
Joel, yeah, you named your 3. That's right.
The Hello Darkness, My Old Friend award. What game did you forget to buy or play in 2015? Mine's Arkham Knight. I know it's good. I've played a little bit of it. I just keep meaning to get to it, and stuff keeps coming up, and I just keep not doing it, and I'm sorry. Joel raved about it for like the first couple weeks it was out, about how good it was.
It's fantastic.
And I know it is, and I want to play it, but I just
I've been really
haven't.
impressed by the production value.
I wish I'd got it on PS4, but I got it for free with a video card thing or something. I forget what it was.
One of the many video cards you bought last year.
Just because I know I would probably play it more consistently, but every time I do play it is. I honestly I can't think of one because when I set my mind on getting a game or game I want to play, I'll be playing it. It's generally like I did really really well in Just Cause 3. I didn't get it right when it out. I was saving it for Christmas week to play it, and I did. But yeah, if you guys can think of one, I honestly can't think of a game that, unless you've heard me want me to play a game and I haven't played it yet, other than maybe Shower with Your Dad Simulator.
I think you play more games than I do by a long shot. You play a lot more than me. So I feel like any game you've talked about wanting to play, you've definitely played at some point this year. I haven't heard you going, oh, I really want to get to it, but I can't.
I'm like,
did you ever get around to playing The Order?
Yeah, I am playing through it actually. Yeah.
Wow.
It's
all right.
Pretty, it's a gorgeous looking game. Like gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
It's kind of ridiculous. Jeremiah, you should definitely download it just to check it out. Like the visuals are like, holy crap, this looks good. If they even make it more widescreen, it'd be like straight up CGI.
Oh yeah, it's 21:9, isn't it?
But it does look pretty damn awesome.
Oh yeah. All right.
I'll go.
Oh yeah.
Next, I don't.
I'll say Witcher 3, just because I haven't gotten enough time into it to get past the.
Right.
I mean, I love what I've played so far, and it's just been like I was playing it at the same time as I was playing Fallout and not feeling conflicted. But having time to sit and do something, not there yet. That and maybe Halo 5. Like it's sitting on my shelf. I've not played it yet.
Dave?
Yeah, I mean, especially with so many of the really good games that came out last year being very large, like open world and RPG style games, it's been really easy to have other games just fall to the wayside. I saw something for Dying Light this week, and remember that I literally just forgot it existed, and it's pretty good, and it has like all this new free content. I forgot it even existed.
Oh,
and then
speaking of that, if you guys do see a really good sale, get it on PS4 if it's like really cheap, because I already have it, and it's got 4-player co-op, so it'd be fun to play.
Oh, it's got
co-op. This will be like 3 games in a row on PS4. You're getting Division on the PC, okay? That's how it's going to be.
and then
the Badlands on PS4. There we go.
No,
Wildlands.
Sorry,
Wildlands is definitely PC. I'm buying a season pass for Battlefront on PS4, Joel. You'll take a little bit.
Now Dark Souls 3 PS4 all the way, Joel. Dark Souls 3.
Yeah. We'll
trade you 30 FPS.
You guys are.
We'll trade you
I don't
Dark
want to
Souls.
negotiate with him, but he's a terrorist. He's a terrorist.
It's a console terrorist. Yeah, we'll trade you Dark Souls for.
I'll get Uncharted on PS4.
Deal.
Now that's a compromise. And then also, I actually remember
I
was looking at this question earlier today. I remembered it's only been like a month and a half, and I'd already forgotten about it. The new Assassin's Creed, which for me will probably be the first one I actually enjoy since Black Flag. I forgot it existed, and it's only been like a month and a half.
The only one you'll enjoy since Black Flag, like
since 2 years ago.
The one.
So you skipped Unity, but the rest have been good.
Yeah, I mean, I played 1 and 2. Black Flag, and I played some of the new ones. Yeah. I didn't enjoy 2 actually. I only got I got like 6 hours into 2.
Oh, okay. Then you didn't really play.
I know, but it did not hook me at all. I just couldn't.
That's fine. But I mean, there's a lot. 2 takes a very long time to build up. They went even farther with 3. I think like the tutorial for 3 is like 6 or 7 hours to get through all their tutorial stuff. Like it's bad.
And Joel told me the same thing. And from what I've heard from other people about 2, I bet if I went back even now and just sat down and got another 6 hours into it, I'd probably keep going. But at the time, it was just meh. But Black Flag, I'm sad. I lost my save game in my computer build 2014 now in March. But I love Black Flag, and I mean the new one's got your home bases on a Steam engine. I mean I'm gonna buy it at some point. Let's just be honest.
Did everyone?
I was gonna say for Dave, when do you think you will? I know you have time now, but I'm thinking logistically of you're playing a crap ton of Witcher, a crap ton of Fallout.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
When do you think you will have time to play something like Assassin's Creed Syndicate? Because like even with like Alien Isolation, I would love to turn that actually into just a series. Because I was like, can we get like one of those like heart rate monitors that they can show on the screen for Dave?
Yeah.
I would love watching Dave play that and just seeing there where I go. Although it'd probably be the same when you see Geralt's beard.
And Jeremiah, I need to send you a link. You remember Soviet Womble?
Yeah.
His channel's blew up now. I still follow him on Twitter. Realized he's got like 200,000 subs, but he played through Alien Isolation. I watched like a little bit of a highlight reel once he finished the series. I was laughing so hard. I sent it to Joel. I'm like, he plays it just like me. Like he's so stressed out the whole time. But seeing he was like live streaming, he's like just vocalizing what's in his mind. I'm like, what he's yelling at himself is like what I have him like in my head. Like every action and thought that he had was totally me. I was like, this is amazing. He's playing it just like I do. He was so immersed. It was fantastic. But what's your actual question, Joel? Like,
I guess just like, when do you think you might actually have time for something? Because, you know, if you just said, all right, I'm actually going to choose to play Knights of the Republic 40 hours, when I think of how many hours you play in games, that's nothing. You could play that in 3 weeks and be done with the whole game. But you need to actively choose to play it. But when you have something like Witcher 3 and Fallout, like crafting specifically, not the game, just the crafting, like it's so hard to tear you away from those things. Like it's really hard for you.
Yeah, and well, my enjoyment level is so high, and I've actually always been that way with games. I think it came partially just from I didn't buy a lot of games as a kid. Like I would find every little secret in the games that I did have, and it's carried over a bit to now. And so when I enjoy a game, I get tunnel vision, which is, I guess, not really a bad thing unless I really wanted to experience a really wide scope. It's a shame because I know I'm missing some good stuff, but at the same time, the enjoyment that I'm having for the games that I am playing is just, it's really, really high. I love them. I really do love them.
At least play Nights before you die.
Well, that got dark.
All right, and then the last award of the evening, the Grass is Always Greener award.
That's a hard one to
F 2015.
say after this year.
Screw all that stuff. What are you excited about 2016? Yeah, 2015 was an awesome year for games.
Oh, man.
But forget all that stuff. 2016, let's talk. What are you excited for? Joel?
You go first. I'm curious what yours is.
The Division. It was off my radar for a while because it was delayed and people were complaining about it and everything. And then the alpha came out. I didn't play it, but I saw a little gameplay, and then I went over to the subreddit, and everybody on there was gushing about how much fun they were having.
Have you seen some gameplay footage of the alpha? Like, I know they're not supposed to show it.
No.
But, well, you're allowed to see it.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. And I mean, it looks like longer versions of the stuff we've seen already, but like it looks.
Is it better than the presentation? A little
Yes.
less cheesy?
Yeah, because there's not. Yeah, because people are just swearing at each other.
Just like real life.
It looks like we could have a lot of fun as a group. I don't think I'd play it a ton by myself. Probably, like I'd play a little bit, get used to the mechanics and stuff. But it feels like we said years ago, that itch that DayZ has just not quite scratched yet. Like DayZ at times has been very close, but not quite there. The Division looks like it could be that. So I'm not getting that hyped about it. I'm gonna wait till it comes out. But I'm actually kind of excited to see what happens with it again, and I haven't been for a while. Next is the Blood and Wine expansion, of course. Then Uncharted 4, obviously, excited for that. I've marathoned every one of the Uncharted games when they've come out, so I don't think this will be any different. Hopefully, we can all do it like together on the big screen. That'd be a lot of fun. Unless you guys want to play it by yourself, which is okay. And then next is Wildlands for the same reason. I think it looks like a really fun game to play with you guys. And
Looks like a casual Arma.
well, it looks like fun, but it also looks like it's a lot more tactical than like, I mean, not Rocket League, you can't really compare them, but like, it doesn't look like big dumb fun is really going to be the point of Wildlands. It looks like, no, this is a game for when we're ready to get serious and like try hard and play together. It looks
It's somewhere maybe in between GTA and Arma.
To
Maybe,
me,
yeah.
it looked like the really cool, fun modes of Spec Ops in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Like, you just have a cool, like, those were badass. They were fun missions, but, you know, a little bit more open world and driving and stuff like that. I hope they deliver. That looks like it's going to be a blast.
And my last one is, I'm excited. Now there's actually enough of Star Citizen where you can really start playing the game and starting to get familiar with the mechanics and stuff. So I want to start getting into that because I kickstarted it like 4 years ago.
By
5 years ago.
What does it have in it now?
It has one area
fighter thing.
You can do a couple missions in it. It's got the dogfighting module. You can like land on a space station and walk around. You can go do missions. You can warp to a couple different areas. Like it's like one semi-complete little section of the game world. And they showed off that video of them. All right, they're in a space station. They walk to the plane or the ship. They get in the ship. They take off in one shot, fly to a planet, fly through the atmosphere down to the planet and land. And like you've seen No Man's Sky and stuff, but picture it with the graphics of Star Citizen. I was
this is the kind of stuff like people have been imagining.
I
for
know
some galaxies.
PlayStation VR
man.
probably is going to be great, but man, when PC VR drops in price, like just for Star Citizen, I'll have to do it. Like, if Star Citizen's good. So I really haven't played it much in the past year, and I want to.
It's like
there's enough of it. I want to get into it.
The way you just described it, Jeremiah, that's the kind of game that people have been like dreaming about since like the early '90s for games.
That's exactly what Chris Roberts said when he was making his Wing Commander games. Like he always wanted to make a game like this, but it got to the point, just like George Miller with Mad Max, where it's like, okay, the technology's there. Like I can actually do what I want to do now. So, Dave, what do you got?
As far as just like anticipation goes, both of my top two are expansions to games I already play a lot. First one, obviously, Blood and Wine for The Witcher 3. It's supposed to be the length of The Witcher 2, like in its entirety.
That one and Hearts of Stone together are the length of The Witcher 2. Supposedly.
I've heard otherwise, actually.
Okay, but anyway, we're talking at least 30 hours then.
Because they revised it later. After Hearts of Stone released, it was revised to say that it's going to be bigger than The Witcher 2, just Blood and Wine.
Okay, all right.
So obviously, I mean, I cannot wait for more Witcher content. Number 2 is actually the Arma expansion pack because of all the other stuff coming along with it. We get a new island. What?
I'd forgotten.
Yeah. We get a new tropical environment. It's going to be updated to DirectX 11. We're hopefully getting some more modern multi-threading support, and just, I mean, the sandbox gets even bigger and better. It's just fantastic. I'm super excited because along with that, actually earlier than that, possibly even like this month or next month, we get the Eden editor, which is a 3D editor for Arma that people have been wanting since Arma 1. That's going to change mission creation when what you see is what you get. That's going to be amazing. I think, is it Wildlands or Badlands? I'm really confused now.
It's Wildlands.
It is Wildlands. We're 100% sure.
It's I googled it. It's Wildlands.
Okay. Yeah, I am excited for that. I hope that the third person parts are balanced because it is rare that you see a good tactical third person game. But it does look good. So I'm excited. That's actually, I think, number 3 for the excitement for me.
Now is DayZ, are they planning on doing their private servers this year? Didn't they mention doing something about private servers?
I think they're already.
Yeah, there already are private servers.
Yeah.
No, not ones you rent, ones you can actually host. Do you remember?
Yes.
Remember when they discussed that?
I think
that and a single player, maybe.
Yeah, I think those
Is
are both supposed to come once the beta is live. So like the beta builds out.
So not this year.
Yeah. Basically.
Yeah. Beyond that, I'm not really. I know I'm gonna enjoy Dark Souls, but I'm still playing through Bloodborne, so I'm not super hyped for that just yet. Maybe actually just Battlefront content, because I'm still really enjoying that. That's might be kind of high on the list for me. Oh, and Fallout DLC is coming too, but I don't know if I actually need it because of modding and crafting.
Yeah.
Well, unless they give you new stuff you can put in your settlements.
James, I added 2 mods in November when I started all this crafting madness that added like 1,900 craftable objects. Now that I have a mod that lets me place props, it's like another 4,000 objects. There's no DLC that can match up to that already.
All right, James.
I am going to go with, of course, Wildlands. Everybody, I think, is really excited about that. Horizon, what was it called?
Zero Dawn. Mm-hmm.
I'm excited about that.
Is that 2016?
It should be.
Okay.
It's slated for 2016.
Spring 2017?
Yeah, pretty much. A game that looks good. I'm not sure if I'm going to like it. Far Cry Primal.
Yeah.
Actually looks pretty interesting just because they've gone in such a different direction that it looks like it'd be a fun environment to explore. I'm also going to say Mass Effect Andromeda. As long as it makes the 2016 launch window.
Oh, please be awesome.
All right, Joel.
PlayStation VR. I'm really, really stoked for that. I mean, I love new technology and stuff, so I've been waiting for VR for a really long time.
Technology.
Not as much as Dark Souls, you see. Yeah, I just I hope it comes out and it sticks, like with any kind of VR. I want it to become a thing. So, so we're all addicted to looking through devices, and the world goes to crap, and it turns into that Ready Player One book.
That's a good book.
Did you hear about the movie? Spielberg's directing it?
Yeah.
And Ben Mendelsohn from Bloodline is playing the bad guy, the villain.
Yeah.
Pretty stoked. Be a fun movie. Anyways, that and Dark Souls 3, cannot wait.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
And I guess and Mass Effect, that's a huge game. Like, I know I'm gonna love Uncharted 4, but I did forget about that. I'm glad James said that. But Mass Effect, love that series. Music.
And just to mention a few of the other games coming out, we do have Kingdom Come. I believe that will make a 2016 launch window, and we'll enjoy it. Gears of War 4, Dead Island 2, Doom comes out, and surprisingly, the game that I didn't think would be a sequel that I would want is Homefront: The Revolution. That actually looks
I'm excited
really
for that.
good.
Oh yeah.
Dishonored 2 comes out, Firewatch, Cuphead surprisingly looks good.
Oh yeah.
Battleborn's super hyped up. I'm not there yet, but
cool.
Yeah, just to name a few.
All right.
Forgot the Cuphead. That looks awesome. Joey and I are stoked to play because it looks like Disney co-op game 2D.
Guys, that's our games of the year.
Woo!
Woo!
We
There
made
are many forms.
how many is this now for us? Is this our third one or fourth?
Third.
Honestly, third.
Third full year. Third full year.
Mhm. Yeah.
All right. It's now time for the news.
News time.
Up first, the HTC Vive was delayed because they said they had a major technological breakthrough. And a lot of people are reticent to call this a breakthrough. I don't think the technology is really a breakthrough. I think the implementation for VR is a bit of a breakthrough. I'm really excited about this. They call it their chaperone mode, where you can very quickly, I believe it's by holding like a button on the head on the controllers that will be coming with it. It like reduces the opacity of the screen just a little bit, so you can see a little bit in the room around you, which is a big worry with VR.
That is a huge thing.
And then you can also set the bounds of your play area, where like you set it up ahead of time. You just tell it, I don't want to go past here, don't go past here, don't go past here.
That's great.
So if you start getting close in your game world, virtual walls will like bleed through a little bit to let you know you're getting close to the edge of where you said you wanted to go.
That's
so you
a
can,
great idea.
So you can kind of mess around. And it's supposed to not be that like annoying. I guess we'll see. People who have tried it, say it's pretty cool. So it's got this front-facing camera that lets you see other people in the room and everything else. And it's starting to look a lot better. It's still got, some wires hanging off of it. It's still kind of big, still a little clunky, but it's looks a lot less clunky than it did before. I think the Vive is actually the one I'm most excited about. Not just because of this thing, but just because it seems like I think they really get the stuff that people are worried about with VR. Now, who knows if it'll be affordable or anything else, but I think they kind of understand it. But the next,
I think seeing how, and Joel talk about this, seeing how Oculus's announcement went, I don't think they're going to come in higher than Oculus. I think they'll come in lower.
Well, I actually want to talk about that. So Joel, go ahead with your news item about Oculus.
Yeah, Oculus Rift price and tech breakdown. So it came in way cheaper than everyone thought at a measly $599. Now, my prediction for the price of this, it was $100 more than I thought it would be, because I was expecting it to be pretty expensive, because I was expecting it to be way higher tech than it is too, because the PSVR has a really good components in it,
right.
Especially the screen, and so I was expecting it to be quite a higher resolution. But I follow this blog called VR News, I think it's called. So anyways, it comes with a headset. The sensor, which is this little camera that you set on your desk or on your screen, an Oculus remote, which is pretty cool. It looks like a little Apple TV remote that you can do volume and all sorts of things like that, just to keep having to always press the keyboard or something like that. Cables, and then it comes with an Xbox One controller. And then it comes with 2 free games, Eve Valkyrie and a game called Lucky's Tale, which is very much like, what was that PS1 game? Crash Bandicoot. Apparently it's like that style. The recommended specs to run Oculus VR games and stuff, which this is the one thing I think, is interesting with that is I hope with this recommended specs, the games that are coming out have to adhere to that, because most PC games, they don't have to adhere to really any kind of set rules. So
Right.
yes, your computer could have this recommended specs, but that's okay for 3 games, and then like 3 months later, someone comes out with, now you got to have 16 gigs of RAM or 20 gigs or whatever. But the recommended specs is you have to have an NVIDIA GTX 970 or AMD R9 290 equivalent or greater, an Intel i5 45. Why am I doing the specs? This is so weird. 4590 equivalent or greater, 8 gigs of RAM or more, compatible HDMI 1.3 video output, 3 USB ports plus 1 USB 2.0 port. It's kind of interesting. That's a lot of ports. Windows 7, 64-bit or newer.
Which actually, that's pretty reasonable. I was kind of pissed. Maximum PC put together their what computer will you need? Like, how much will it cost to really play Oculus Rift games? And they put together a $1,300 build with a $50 crappy PSU, an $140 case. Like, it was all over the map of idiocy. But I priced it out, and you could build this for around $600 or $700. Not.
Did you send them an email and say you can write into the show?
You guys should write into our tech podcast because you need help.
But so actually, a lot of people are really mad on the internet. I'm not saying Joel's one of those people. A lot of people are really mad about the price. They say that Oculus is screwing everybody over, blah, 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 blah. I actually don't think that's the case. They're the first out of the gate with a major new technology. They could price it at literally whatever they want. It doesn't matter. It's the first gen. VR is not going to succeed or fail based on the price of the first round of Oculus Rifts. I mean, when the original iPhone came out, like, it could do jack pretty much. Like, it wasn't, like, looking back now, it couldn't do all that much. But at the time, it was amazing. And they could have charged whatever they want. People would have paid for it. The Oculus Rifts, the first round's already sold out. So they did price it what they should have. This is a business. Too many people are like, well, I can't believe they just wouldn't make it low, like make the price lower to get more market share. And the Palmer Luckey did a AMA where he said, guys, like, wait till you see a tech breakdown of what's inside this thing. We can't make it cheaper. He said, like, this is not a PlayStation VR. He said, we messed up the messaging in the past. He took full responsibility. He said, I said things in the past I shouldn't have said. I hinted at the price. I, said too many things about how easy it was going to be, how good it was going to be. He said, we switched our goal from a good, affordable experience to the best VR experience we can make. He said, if you see the stuff that's packed inside this thing, he said, we could not sell it for like a dime less than this. As more of them get made, as manufacturing costs drop, they will get cheaper. Well, VR is going to get cheaper. If this is too expensive for you, don't buy it. You shouldn't buy it yet anyway if you're not sure, because it's a lot of money to drop on an unproven system.
I like someone just pointed out, like, DVD players were like $1,200 when they first came out. If you were an early adapter for DVD players, you paid for it. Like, it was very expensive, and the costs are going to come down.
And this isn't going to be like PlayStation VR. When PlayStation VR comes out, that's probably the only one we're going to get on the PS4 generation. There might be like a slimmer, cheaper version later, but like spec-wise, they have to keep everything compliant. So that's going to be the major one for the PlayStation generation. There could be when HTC Vive comes out, in a year, there might be a cheaper, lighter Oculus Rift and then a better Vive. And then like someone else might throw their hat in the ring with a serious contender. This is the very beginning. Like, if this seems too expensive, too whatever, just sit it out. It's okay. VR is not going to live or die based on you getting involved in it. Like, if it catches on, it's going to be slow. Even Sony, their most optimistic thing is they think they might sell 1.5 to 2 million in the first year on a console with a 35 million install base. Like, even Sony doesn't think this thing is going to take off like fire. Like, they think it's going to sell less than the Vita in the first year, if that tells you anything. So they know that, like, VR is not going to be, it's expensive, and it's not going to be for everyone at first, and it's going to take a while. People are going to have to experience it to really get why should they be playing this. So, yep, the Oculus Rift is expensive, and I think they priced it exactly as they should have. They say it costs this much to make, and we're not compromising on it. Fine. It costs whatever it costs.
Can I say something about that too? Because I absolutely agree. I think what's hard to understand, I think the price for it is because what's more important than just the device is really what you're going to play with it or experience. That is where it's going to make or break VR. It's not going to be the technology and the hardware. Like, I mean, the hardware in itself, it needs to be comfortable to a point, because if you cannot wear it for 30 minutes and it frustrates the crap out of you, your eyes are sweating and everything, and it's just a lousy experience, that's going to ruin it. But the games and the system, that needs to be awesome. I think it's almost like thinking this, right? When the Wii remote came out first, like the Motion Plus kind of stuff, right? It was such like, whoa, this is crazy. Like it was very, very ahead of its time. It would be like saying $500 for this new device. Like it's brand new technology, but what you're getting from it's not going to be incredible. So I think people are like, well, that's $600 for a couple of tech demos. You know, it's like, yeah, you don't just immediately put it on. You're going to have a trillion amazing games, I think. But like, it's an amazing piece of technology. So like, it's going to cost a crap load because it's got like a screen. And to reiterate to a lot of people, because people think it's just literally putting an iPhone close to your face, like it's a big screen, 2D screen. No. This one feels like you literally step into the world of a game. It's unbelievable. The first time I tried the Oculus Rift Dev Kit 2, which I bought, it was unbelievable. I had this space game and I could explore planets and stuff.
That was beautiful. It was amazing.
It was so creepy awesome because I'm flying out in the ship and you look around, there's nothing around me but stars. And I was like, I actually felt isolated and alone. I was like, how does this do this? Like it's unbelievable. So the saddest part that I think about the price, like it sucks that the price is high because the only part I disagree with it is I think the price could eventually hurt VR catching on because it's one of those gray areas where the technology needs to be cheap enough, popular enough. Like the VR needs to get popular so they can get the price down. If it doesn't sell enough, they won't get the price down. The price will eventually come down in a long freaking time. And that's why I'm hoping PSVR, they can sell it at a loss because it needs to get out to the consumers, like a crap ton of them. Because if they have 5 amazing experiences, you need to put it on, have an absolutely amazing experience. Because I let my sister try it, a whole bunch of other people try it, and they played demos. They really enjoyed it, but it freaked out one or two times, and that was enough for them to immediately take it off. Mm-hmm. And so VR needs to work excellently the first couple times, like, and have a memorable experience. Or it's going to be one of those things where like, it just feels like it's like you're playing a waggle remote game on the Wii, but it's not. VR is way cooler than what people think it is going to be. But I wish the price was a little bit lower so it could succeed quicker.
That's the thing.
I don't want to wait another 6 years for the price to come down for something, for most people to try it.
Sony can sell it at a loss.
Yeah.
Oculus and HTC, they can't sell at a loss. So it makes sense. I totally agree with their position of, all right, we can't be the cheapest. So let's stop trying to be cheap and let's be the best.
Yeah.
Because especially for people like with sim rigs and stuff, like the racing wheel community is very small and very expensive. Like those people are always going to be around to buy it. And I think Oculus is going for the hardcore adapters first. And if enough of them buy it, they can start making the cheaper models, which happens with every peripheral. But anyway, anyone have anything else you want to say on that before we move on?
Yeah, I'm gonna just want to say number one, they are projecting it to be like almost $5 billion in the first few years of sales. That's a tough sell.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
The thing that's going against Sony is that I think the other manufacturers have such a wider audience. I'm not just talking about gamers, but talking about professional industry. Getting that into medical schools or flight simulations or any kind of non-gaming situation where virtual reality makes total sense. Mm-hmm. I think that's going to be something that they're going to end up having to make some money off of contracting. And there's another theory I have as to why PC will sell way more VR than Sony, and that's the elephant in the room industry.
What do you mean?
I'll let you think about
porn.
Yeah, porn. No, really. The porn industry has pushed so many things forward. Like that's.
I mean, it's a realistic thing. You have to think.
I'm gonna disagree. I mean, I'm gonna predict now that I think Sony's gonna sell way more, and the reason why is because I think it's gonna catch on, or if it does catch on, it's gonna catch on the same way iPads catch on. They had tablets like that before. High-tech industries can have that. But if it becomes a cool thing to do, and you're sitting in your living room and other people are experiencing it around you, you're watching them experience it on the TV, it becomes a social thing, that's what's going to sell it, not just tech industry stuff, because they already have it. But they
don't have it like this. Now, are you predicting that, since we're doing a prediction here, let's go ahead and get it down. Are you predicting that the Sony VR, PlayStation VR will sell more than in any individual PC VR headset? Okay, so what if the Vive and Oculus together sell way more? Does that count?
I mean,
is that only in those
sure.
only in those three, or does that include Google's Cardboard, which is
no, I like those,
predicted to sell
I
like
don't,
20?
Those I don't consider as
well, they're
VR.
predicted to sell like over 20 million over the next couple.
But that's
years.
not. It's really not the same type of VR experience.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
consider
cool
that like the little
introduction to it.
Kodak thing, the little toy thing you look through, and it's like that's really cool. I mean, I think in the future when they have no wires and those things can do everything that Oculus and everything else can do, that's going to be amazing. But no, I think PS4 VR, if any of them do well, it's going to be Sony's.
Okay.
If they come out and it's at $600, I'll say anything's up for air now. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I think PlayStation has the easiest to just jump right into, and so I think if anyone's going to do that, I think they're going to do really well.
We'll see.
I'm going to disagree with you.
We'll see. We'll see.
Wait, what's your point? What's your guess?
Me?
Predict.
I'm not going to.
I mean, we know you're rooting for the HTC.
The HTC
Personally.
appeals to me the most based on features,
Right.
but that's just based on features. I don't, who
Right.
knows
If
how
you're a
it's gonna be.
businessman and you have to put stock into which one did you put stock into?
If I was a businessman,
the PlayStation VR.
if I was a businessman, I would put it into Oculus. For the reason that Sony has a very bad track record of coming out with very interesting, cool ideas and then totally abandoning them. The first time they don't sell well, they go, oh, and they kind of move on. Now, Sony's in a different position monetarily. Their console, they have the hit console. They're making all the money right now. Maybe it won't be the case. But historically, I would not bet on a Sony horse because they don't stick to their guns when stuff gets bad.
So you go with who? Oculus.
I go with Facebook money.
David,
Because
what about you?
Facebook, if they think it's the right move to lose $1 billion a year for 10 years to get this thing off the ground, they can do it. So it'd be like, yeah, like I don't believe in Facebook, but I believe Facebook could come up with it. Whereas like Valve, I totally think Valve, if it doesn't work out, they'll just go well, and move on because that's what Valve does. Like they're just that type of company. So
Half-Life.
and HTC would then probably just pivot to make their stuff more consumer facing for phones, for multimedia stuff. Like HTC, they'll be okay. I'm not worried about them. But I think Valve would definitely give up on it if they didn't believe in it. And I don't think Facebook will. They paid half as much for the Oculus Rift as Disney paid for Star Wars.
Oh, man, what a deal
All right.
on Star Wars.
Anyway, before we move on, Dave, who would you bet? Who would you back?
I mean, I'm just kind of in the wait and see mode.
Yeah.
But if I had to just put buy stocks or whatever, Oculus has units sold out. So it's probably too late to ride that money train, but I'd probably pick Oculus just because they're first out of the gate.
Yeah.
If you're going to make some money quick, maybe Oculus.
Well, they've built a lot of name brand.
Yeah.
Being that first one, the one that's really innovated the other teams to. Oh, we were already working on it. Yeah, right.
James,
so now when you think of 3D, you think of Oculus at this point.
I was just telling Joel, I ran across numbers. They've sold 175,000 of those dev kit 2s. A developer test kit.
Holy moly.
175,000. I thought it might be like, 20,000-ish. That's insane.
Well, they've been doing a lot of demonstrations. I actually know someone that worked for Oculus as a product demonstrator, and they would just set up booths and have people come in and use it and experience it. So they've started getting some of that grassroots recognition too. So it's hard to move past name recognition, which is part of what Samsung and Apple has with their phones. Granted, there's other companies that make good phones and stuff that you can get. I mean, Jeremiah, you love your Nexus, but it's not nearly as popular as a Samsung.
Yeah. Which having had a flagship Samsung, I don't know why. I really don't.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Up next is Rise of the Tomb Raider. It's coming out to PC January 28th. They've released the system requirements. They are downright reasonable. Joel, you going to get it on PC?
Oh yeah, I played Tomb Raider first on PC.
Can't get it on your Xbox One though, can you? The requirements are Windows 7 64-bit and Core i3 2100. I like to say or AMD equivalent. They're like, all right, we admit it. We don't really know how they stack up. So you get this processor or the AMD one, it's fine. And that's not a very expensive or new processor. So that's pretty reasonable. 6 gigs of RAM. I think everyone's just going to recommend 6 gigs of RAM from now on. 6 or 8. A GTX 650 or an HD 7770. Those are old, slow cards. DirectX 11, and then of course 25 gigs of hard drive space because nothing's ever under like 20 gigs these days. That's pretty moderate. Like that's downright reasonable. I'm
Sounds
impressed.
like a good port to me. The last one was, so I think they're on track.
Yep. And then the last thing is that last bit of news: AsRock is releasing motherboards that can overclock locked Skylake dual cores. Now, Skylake is the code name for Intel's latest processors. People really like them, but Intel has not let you use base clock overclocking to overclock their non-K processors for like the last 3 or 4 generations. And now apparently you can do that. They're still technically locked, but there are ways to overclock them. And AsRock is releasing, they say, we don't know prices yet, they say they're going to be very cheap motherboards that can overclock these dual core parts. And people have done tests, and like these like $110 i3s stock are running neck and neck with stock 2500Ks, which are still like legendary gaming quad cores. So these processors have come quite a way, and you can overclock them. This will be like the new king of the budget chips. It's going to kill the FX 6300, which is like the go-to $100 recommendation. So I'm pretty excited to see these motherboards. I almost want to like do a build with one just to see how it is. But it's now time for mail time.
Mail time.
You can write into the show, casualshenanigans@gmail.com, just like a weird stranger did. Again.
This is my surprise
Just gonna need
face.
a theme song.
Real verbose in email, not so verbose on the podcast when she doesn't know anything about us and loses at trivia. She says, well, they say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. So thank you, Sherbets, because he wrote in mocking one of her emails. But you did it wrong. Joel should never, ever be in first place. And you missed an opportunity to knock Jeremiah down a few pegs. And you clearly didn't look up the word irreverent, as there was a noticeable lack of disrespect in your rankings. You should get out a pen and paper so you can take some notes. I'm sure you'll do better next time. Both of them are in chat right now. This should be fun. Okay. Shenanigans rankings. James, number 1. You took a few jabs at me during the Lootcast, but totally redeemed yourself with your sweet
You deserved it.
with your sweet beatboxing skills. Now that's what I call squandering talent. Thanks for making sure I received the homemade Stormtrooper pick. It was really funny. I think it looks like a sad extremity warmer. I like that the potato masher sound effect has graduated
that
to
thing.
being used when it's even mentioned in a conversation.
Potato mash time.
Too bad Joel's bullshit trivia sound effect won't get used more often. For as much shit as Jeremiah talks about me, you should create a weird stranger sound effect. It would get used all the time.
A weird stranger would probably be like, "Come over here, kid."
All right, perfect, Joel. That's it from now on. While James whistles. All right, number 2. Dave. Look at that face.
He's so excited. Someone wrote in an email and warned
Thanks for
us
not being
something.
creeped out by a weird stranger when I just kind of showed up in your Star Wars game. Also, you're my 4th Twitter follower and the only follower with whom I've ever actually spoken. Sure.
That was actually funny when we were playing Battlefront and we saw Weird Stranger. We're like, we don't know if that's actually her or maybe her daughter playing.
Yeah, we were really confused. I mean,
Like,
there's
do we say hi?
there were Star Wars to be played. We were
Like,
focused. I mean, it was done.
Sure, you follow me out of necessity, but you're still there. Feel free to unfollow me when I start to annoy you. Number 3, Grunt Boy.
I love how you had that quick shift over.
Grunt Boy. I really enjoyed your Looting Tree song. Seems like you could have picked a better Shenanigan guy to be in it, though. I think James would have been a much better choice. I think it was Joel's song. But whatever. Number 4.
Body's clean and ready.
That line.
The way you sing that, oh my god.
All right, number 4, Joel. Damn it, Joel, you're an ass. I graced you with my presence in
Yeah.
your precious Star Wars game, and how'd you repay me? By telling all your friends and family to take all the cargo so I'd be left standing by the empty cart all alone and with 0 points. And you wonder why people don't like you.
Oh, that was good.
Number 5, Jeremiah. I see what you did there. Very clever deleting my audio just to mess with me. And I'm not sure if you were messing with me, Weird Stranger, but I went back and checked and I deleted nothing. Your audio came through all the way. It's just your mic thing was set up wrong because you're a console player and you don't know how to use a good chat because you've never experienced a good chat before because you own a PS4.
Over
So
here,
it's
I'll give
okay.
you a good chat.
It seems like everyone else got significantly easier questions to answer than I did. Maybe the lost audio wasn't intentional. Maybe it's just the latest example of Jeremiah dropping the ball. Incompetent, evil, either way, it lands you in last. Maybe everyone else got easier questions because we like them and want them to win games. Did you get all that, Sherbets? If you need help forming any insults, hit me up on Twitter. That goes for any listeners out there. I'm here to help.
Can I do a poll right here? All you listeners out there, is this segment where we read these emails boring? Like, is it 5 minutes where you wish it would be deleted? Please write in. Let me know what you think.
Joel's like, I'm ready to emotionally move on. Yeah, let us know what you think. I mean, she's mean to us. We'll mean back to her. We'll accept her emails for a couple weeks and then just never read them. How about that?
No, I thoroughly enjoyed the Christmas one. I thought it was really well written, and I told her that she has a talent.
What have
you done?
She's got some talent. We don't know what it is.
No,
she got something.
No. As a writer myself, I recognize other writing talent. So just saying.
As a award-winning writer, James.
True, recognized.
I'm award-winning. As award-winning writer.
Man,
True,
James,
recognized, true.
James, you're approaching Joel level of condescending, like Joel playing Rocket League condescending right there. Oh, you guys are getting better. Oh.
No, I said that to Joel when I read his last script.
All right.
So, Joel, you're getting better.
Up next is Patrick.
No, I'm just kidding.
Patrick wrote in to casualshenanigans@gmail.com, just like you can. It says, Dear Casual Shenanigans, I'm going to skip most of his email because we will answer it on the tech podcast. But he says, basically, he bought an i5 750. He's trying to build his own potato masher. He bought an i5 750, but then for Christmas, he got a GTX 970 G1 gaming gift. I don't want to upgrade my budget, and I still want to complete the PC, but on a cheap PS4-like budget. But I've heard that when you own a beastly graphics card, the other parts must be upgraded too to be able to run it, and that's my problem. So basically, he was building a cheap build, then someone gave him a really nice card, and now he doesn't know what to do because he's worried about his build being imbalanced. Dave, what would you say?
What was his total specs? Do we have a sheet where I can just...
All he's bought is the i5 750. He's trying to basically copy the potato masher more or less.
I'd give it...
I don't think it's going to bottleneck, except for games like Arma. Maybe GTA.
But it's not very forward-looking. Like a 970 is a really nice card. If he can afford it...
But neither's a potato masher
Let's say,
build.
no, hold on. We're gonna get into the specs of the build in the tech podcast.
Yeah.
Let's just answer the question of, is this too imbalanced of a build to enjoy? Does he have to upgrade everything else, or is this worth continuing?
Here's what I'll say. He doesn't have to upgrade, but I personally would for a 970.
Okay. And I think we can do it within his budget. That's the thing. I wrote back to him. I got a little more, or did I write back to him yet? I don't know. I got more information from him. We're gonna handle it a little more, but yeah, I wrote back to him. I think we can do a really good job with this budget. I think he can have a good build. But yeah, the short version is it will bottleneck in some games, but it's still gonna run really well. And the 970 is still gonna get to stretch its legs most of the time. So it's the type of thing where, yeah, it's a little bottlenecked, but you can still have a really great time while you wait until you're financially ready to upgrade your processor. Like, it's definitely not a bad experience. It just may not be everything it could be when you get a faster processor.
The only downside is he won't lose any money on the processor, but he will lose money on the motherboard.
I don't think he's bought the motherboard yet, so that's good.
Right, but he would have to buy a motherboard to match that processor,
Yeah.
but he could sell it back and
Possibly.
make everything.
I'm going to actually recommend he goes with a different CPU just for that reason of being able to upgrade in the future, given that he already has a nice card. But we'll talk about it on the tech podcast. That's mail time. It is now time for the potato masher.
Potato masher time.
We have Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront on the potato masher. Does everyone have it queued up?
Yes, indeedy.
Good to go.
Si, senor.
All right.
You like it? It's
I do. I love
catchy.
it.
The potato masher. Star Wars Battlefront on the potato masher. In 3, 2, 1. Today we're going to be looking at Star Wars Battlefront on the PS4 and the Potato Masher. In case you don't know, the Potato Masher is a $350 PC custom built in December of 2014 and designed to compete against the PS4 for the remainder of its life cycle. The goal is not to make fun of consoles, but to show that PC gaming can be cheap and just as good or better than gaming on a console. It's a project started by the Casual Shenanigans gaming podcast, so click the link on screen if you want to check that out. There's also an FAQ video if you want to know more about the Potato Masher, and the original build video where you can see how it all got started. This video was recorded and uploaded at 60 FPS, so switch to that if your browser supports it. Lastly, I'd like to thank the channel Comic Books and Games for letting me borrow their Origin account to test Battlefront. There's a link to their channel on screen right now and in the video description if you'd like to go say hi. Let's get to it. Battlefront is an extremely good-looking game. Obviously, you all know that. If you've seen any gameplay, you know it looks great. The Frostbite engine is very mature-looking and thankfully is very well optimized. I was hopeful that high settings would be possible at 60 FPS. In the Fighter Squadron game mode, I was pleasantly surprised that I was able to run everything at very high. That performance didn't carry over to other game modes, so I dropped everything to high and tested again. It was very close to locking at 60 FPS. There were some maps that ran at a smooth and stable 60 FPS the entire time, while others experienced dips during frenetic action. The goal is to have one graphical setting that is consistently good across all game modes, so I had to settle for medium. However, medium is hardly a deficient experience. The game still looks great. The shadows and light rays aren't quite as advanced, and there is noticeably more pop-in and texture flickering compared to high or very high. Still, the overall visual fidelity is very good. The gun and character models, textures, and special effects still look great. I'd say that at medium settings, the Potato Masher was very comparable to the PS4 version of Battlefront. While both versions are running at a smooth 60 FPS, the Potato Masher ran the game at 1080p and the PS4 has to settle for 900p. This isn't a problem most of the time, but the PS4 has more jaggy aliasing, especially on power lines and distant objects. The PC version also looks very slightly sharper due to the higher resolution. The PS4 has more pop-in, but not enough to be distracting. If I didn't label which version was which, you'd probably have a hard time telling the difference. The Potato Masher and PS4 are that close, at least when it comes to Battlefront. Any small platform differences are quickly forgotten as soon as you dive into a game. This segment will be a little different than normal. The game already runs at 60 FPS, and 120 or 144 FPS is too demanding a target for the Potato Masher to hit in Frostbite, at least if I want to retain any of the game's striking visuals. But what if I'm okay with slight frame rate dips as long as the visuals are top notch? Well, very high does look pretty great. The game stays in the mid-50s most of the time on very high settings, which feels almost identical to 60. A variable frame rate can be distracting though, so I locked the frame rate to 50. It's unorthodox, but it did let me comfortably play at very high settings. As an aside, I've been playing Fallout 4 on my personal rig at 45 FPS, high, and 4K. Locking the frame rate between 30 and 60 can offer noticeable improvements compared to 30 FPS, even if your machine can't quite handle a locked 60 FPS experience. Anyway, Battlefront does work well this way. I don't think I'd want to go down to 30 FPS with a competitive shooter, but it's also an option. The Potato Masher easily handles the game at 30 FPS and very high, as you'd expect based on how well it does at 50 FPS. But what if you want to play it better than 1080p? Alright, here's where I should put the normal disclaimer that yes, the odds of someone gaming at 1440p or 4K on such a cheap computer are pretty low. Still, it's fun to see how well the Potato Masher handles it. At 1440p, to reach 60 FPS, I had to use very low settings. While the game's art design is still great, the pop-in, lighting, and shadows all leave a lot to be desired. It's playable, but it's not as amazing of an experience. If I was okay with 30 FPS, I could play at high settings. The game is beautiful, and the added resolution is very noticeable. Still, 30 FPS isn't great for a shooter that's running at 60 FPS for everyone else that you're playing against. It can still be fun for co-op, or if you aren't trying to be extremely competitive. Lastly, 4K is a bust. At very low settings, the game struggled to maintain a steady 30 FPS. It's understandable given that 4K is almost 6 times the resolution of the PS4 version of Battlefront, but it's still cool when the Potato Masher can do it. Just not this time. Are you surprised? I was honestly expecting better than medium settings. The performance on high is so close to a stable 60 that I would expect future graphics drivers or game patches to give the Potato Masher the boost it would need to definitively look better than the PS4. Still, it's running at a higher resolution and delivers at least an equal experience. Normally I don't touch on gameplay in these reviews, but I do have to point out that the PC player base is much smaller than on either console. Since there's no server browser, this means that when you're trying to play online, you'll have a harder time getting into a good match on the PC, whereas on the PS4 it was usually very quick and easy. Your experience may vary, of course, but be warned. My next video will be a look back at the first year of the Potato Masher project. I'll also be talking about upcoming changes to the project and how you can help make it better than ever. If you like this video, consider leaving a comment or hitting the like button. You can also click any of the links on screen to check out the original build video, FAQ video, or the Casual Shenanigans Gaming podcast. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.
Crap, I want to play right now.
So, does anyone want to make any comments on my skill in the video?
No.
I
You
wasn't
were-
going to say
You
anything.
were just jumping in to record footage, unless you were really trying.
Joel. There
I
it
haven't got
is.
attention. No. People have been commenting on the Counter-Strike video for months, talking about how my
Oh.
technique is all wrong,
Good
and why
gosh.
would I ever turn on anti-aliasing in Counter-Strike, and why am I playing at 1080p? And so for this video, I was like, screw you guys. I'm gonna play with a controller, and I'm gonna ham fist it just bad enough, like just good enough. We were like, I think he's trying, but not actually very good. And so
I loved how long you shot at the TIE fighter with like the LMG, like track. Like that clip went on for so long.
I just figured might as well give him a freebie, like see how much everybody hates it.
I'm
But
really surprised that it didn't work that well, honestly. Like, I
well,
thought it would
that's the thing
better,
though.
yeah.
It was on high. It was 60 most of the time. It just dipped enough that I was like, it dipped enough that I felt it would be dishonest to say it worked at 60.
Yeah.
The thing is, if I was doing it myself, I would drop one or two little settings and play it high, and it'd be fine. I could drop one or two settings
I'm
and
curious
play it
how
very
it
high.
would run on my computer, because in the beta, it ran pretty smooth, but it still had an annoying little like back and forth. And that really does frustrate me, especially playing on PC specifically. Because with using a mouse, like you feel so much closer to control of the character that when I can feel the FPS hit way more than if you use a controller. It's like you feel it, but you don't feel it as much, with a controller, I'd say. But
Yeah, I like I said
was
in the
like,
video.
oh, even on medium, because I was like, the 60 to like just any of those drops are annoying. I'd rather just stick with one.
When it
frame
was
rate,
dropping,
but-
that's why I said like if you really don't want drops, I locked it at 50, and honestly, it feels basically identical to 60. But it was essentially high though. Like the thing is, it ran so well at high. I think there'll be a patch or an update or something, and high will be no problem, because most of the maps I tried were 60 FPS locked like 90% of the time. Like it basically plays it on high.
Your RAM was pretty maxed out.
No,
whole
actually,
time.
no. It was like 3,500 to 3,700. That's not bad. Maxed out,
out
out of 4,096, but if it's maxed, it'll go to 4,096 and then start using the page file. Like that 3,500 is
Okay.
not that bad. Like it takes a game from like the late 2000 and aughts to stay below 3 gigs most of the time. Every game uses at least 3 gigs. It was
It
actually
wouldn't
lower. than I
really
thought it would
matter,
be.
but I think it would have been interesting to see if you could do high and like 900p, just to see if it could match the resolution with the higher settings.
Can you
I-
actually choose that resolution on PC? Because I've
Yeah.
actually looked for it, and I don't think I've ever seen it.
1600 by 900.
Like unless you could do it some
What,
manual. Like,
what are you looking for?
well, no, I've just been curious. I thought the same thing. I was like,
Oh yeah,
I wouldn't
you can
recommend
definitely
it.
choose it.
But
well, I guess I've never seen the actual resolution. What it actually.
It's in most games. I don't want to dwell on that for too long, but you can definitely choose it in most games.
That's weird. I've looked for it before, and I guess I've
Yeah.
never seen it.
I guess I could have tested that. I don't like dipping below 1080p if I have an option.
Oh,
but
yeah.
the thing I want to want to hammer home, and you guys were
Yeah,
watching
yeah.
a very compressed version of the video. On medium, it really looks very good. When I dropped to medium, I didn't feel like, oh man, I got to play on medium. It felt like, oh, all right.
Yeah, the anti-aliasing really makes that game shine on the PC.
Yeah.
I mean, even though they both look gorgeous.
Yeah.
The big difference between the two was the anti-aliasing.
Yeah, Jaggies really get to me.
the one map that every time it does the intro for it, you guys know the map where it's got the hangar bay in the capture the
Yeah.
flag
Solace.
mode, and
Yeah.
it has the one map out, or the one route outside, and like most of the fighting goes to the hangar. The camera like rotates outside the hangar looking in, and it has all those cross beams on the PS4. And every time it does the intro, all I see are stair stepping of the Jaggies on those girders. Like it's so bad for that one camera angle on the PS4.
The one thing I wish you did mention in there that I think needs to be mentioned is that the PS4 is locked like a bitch. It really is.
Well, no. That's why I dropped to medium.
I
'Cause
don't
said-
lock women up, but
Right. Oh my! All right.
Oh my
Should have
god.
stopped 5 seconds earlier. No, that's why I dropped to medium, Joel, because it was
Yeah.
like it was so close on high. Like if the PS4 dipped some from 60, I thought I would have been like, okay, this is comparable. But the PS4 doesn't dip at all. On medium, it never budged. It was or 59.9 or 60, and that's just a rounding error on the monitoring thing.
Yeah.
But no, it was locked at 60, never budged, never moved, no matter what I was doing. That's why I dropped to medium, because it's the same no compromises thing. Although honestly, all you'd really need to do is drop your anti-aliasing. If you turned it off or turned your shadows down one more notch, you can run it on high and it would be absolutely locked. But
Yeah.
anyway, it's time for 90 Seconds with Joel, a part of the podcast where Joel talks about whatever he wants.
And this time, ladies and gentlemen, it's about poop.
It's like our first episode all over again.
I know. Well,
Why did you say that with such glee?
because
It's about poop.
okay, well, it's like I feel like I had a very like, I don't know, like. All right,
Real good.
Get it out, Joel. Get it out.
I'm gonna squeeze this story out for you guys. Well, I was using the bathroom, but I was really late for something. I think we were gonna go see a movie, and I'm trying to remember what it was. I can't remember what the movie was now. But we were rushed. We were gonna be early, and then I had to use the bathroom.
Was it like
I'm
your
I
sixth
felt really
viewing
sick,
of
and I was
Star
like-
Wars?
And then I had this just like thought. I was like, I'm literally stuck on the toilet. I can't do anything about this. Like, there's nothing I could do. Like, I'm like, you can't go any faster because sometimes you just can't.
Shit or get off the pot.
I know.
Those
Like,
are the two
I mean,
choices.
logically, I mean, like physically, I could just stand up and just grab my pants and just go out the door. But I'm just saying that's your only other
logically.
option. Like, you just have to wait until
Right,
you're done,
where's this
or you
going?
leave. Just wait. I'm getting there.
All right,
I mean, you
all
can
right.
push a little bit,
What?
Joel. You know that, right?
I-
You can speed it up a little bit.
Let him go.
Okay,
I'm
what's
very
that?
interested to see where this is going at this point.
Go on, the podcast has been long enough.
It's all going to
We can
crap.
add a few more. It's all going to crap. But then I thought, it's weird thinking that how many times has this happened to like the president of the United States, or like if you think about all the most amazing technology we have, how organized the CIA can be, and how like FBI agents and like, you know, the Secret Service, like they have to work like clockwork. It's funny how it's like when you gotta go, it's like that trumps like everything. You know what I mean? It's like I'm stuck on the toilet because I
Unless
gotta
you're
take a
filming
crap.
Norman in a junkyard.
But like, I don't know, it was just such a weird thing, and I'm like, and then I started thinking about like Genghis Khan and like people back then. I'm like, have there been like battles with like Alexander the Great's like, we gotta go, oh crap, like I gotta go take a crap, can you guys cover for me for a second? Like
Cover for me in the war for a few hours.
like I don't know, I'm just thinking of like scenarios like that would suck. Like, I don't know, World War II, like I don't know, I'm guessing probably during those you just crapped in your pants as you're fighting. They probably did. I wonder how many times that happened. I don't know. It was just such a weird like thing, but I was like, it's just odd because I'm like, I can't. I was like, I was pissed because I was late for the movie because I couldn't stop moving. Like, I don't know, like I felt sick.
Is this Joel's version of like an epiphany? Is this like the best he can do for an ephany? This is unavoidable.
I don't know. It reminds. Okay, I feel like someone like gosh, who's the guy from House of Cards? Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey's character could tell a story like this and it would be creepy because he would be like, I just think, I just thought it was interesting because you can
I understand. Yeah, I understand where you're going with this.
people just try to control so much of the world and everything down to a science and this and that. And then you're like, I got to go take a bowel movement. Sorry, guys. Like, we got to stop this. Like,
You're just say bowel movement now? Really?
I don't know. Like,
Thanks for staying
I
classy.
saved this to let loose for a couple of weeks.
No, I mean, that's...
All right.
No, you made the
I
most of
try
this
to bring
segment.
I try to bring strange stuff, so that's my job, and I did it.
You've never failed.
So I think a lot of those people, like dignitaries and stuff, probably eat based on their schedule for the day,
Probably.
which would cause their bowel movements. You know, if you're about to go on a road trip, you might not drink as much before you leave. Same thing. Probably don't eat as much before a press conference.
Maybe so.
So they're not stuck on a porta potty
On
or
wedding
something
days.
Right
But
before
it would
stay
be
a little
interesting to
bit-
find out those stories. But like, did you guys see the video clip of Obama's limo got stuck over this
Yeah.
thing? And it was funny. I was like, it happens to everyone. It's just funny how like some of those really simple things, and it's just funny watching because it's so awkward. But yet that situation is like could turn really dangerous. Like, so I think they immediately got him out of the car and moved him to another.
They
one, I
moved a bus in front of it
Yeah.
to block it, and they moved him into
But
a different vehicle.
It was, I don't know. For that similar, it was just weird because I was like, I wonder, like, I wonder how many times that's happened, just awkward things where it's like, sorry, hold up, like get a hold up, like the, I don't know, inauguration or whatever. It's like, what did you do? Like, you can't be like, gotta go.
I mean, I think back like in the, like as you said, the Civil War and stuff, they dealt with a lot more like dysentery and different, like they had all kinds of sicknesses.
It wasn't just you need to go. You got to go out and find the pooping pit. And, you got to get away from everybody. You can't just walk down the hall and go to the bathroom. Like, it's even more complicated.
Yeah.
Sorry, James, you were probably making a better point.
I was making a better point.
Go ahead.
That's okay.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
I was making the point that, we actually live in a time where we can take medicine to solidify, to loosen, to do all kinds of stuff.
However you want your poop, we can make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, you get any flavors of poop you want.
And the last thing I'll make a note on this is somehow it became inspiring to me, and I'll
every time you poop, Joel, you get some weird inspiration.
It's epiphany.
It's this reminder to me that no matter how powerful you are, how like amazing you are, it all comes down. It's just another person. It's someone who has to sleep just like you. Like, no matter, like, you think like people are like heroic and like they still have to sleep. They can't stay up and just be a badass for 24 hours for their whole life. They have to sleep. It's like there's always a vulnerable moment for people. And for me, like when I think about like making Norman or making a film or doing something, people are like, well, that's what these guys do, or that's what the government created. It's like, really, people created it just like you and me. Like, they created rules. I could eventually create a rule that everyone has to do at some point. I mean, I probably won't.
Now
but I'm just saying.
Worried.
I'm just saying it's interesting the fact when it comes out, it's just people. Like,
yeah.
They're like, because when I was a Boy Scout and I went to like summer camp, I always like glorified the camp counselors there because they were so awesome. They were just good at everything. And then when I worked there, like years later, like it's like, oh, I could do that. Like, and it was cool seeing other kids think like, oh, I was really cool. I was just like, people are just, it's people. They're not like these fantastic Iron Man robots. They're people.
Did I tell you the story about when I got like last minute had to run like a youth camp this in 2014 in the summer, like on 3 hours notice, I had to be in charge of 60 kids and like 15 staff.
That was a really cool story.
Well, like a day or two into it, me and another person looked at each other, were like, we're the adults. Like, no, like it's like us, like the man at the top of the ladder, like that's me. Oh boy. And it was that feeling of, well, this is like, things are surprisingly not on fire. Like, we're making all this up as we go along because this is not really going according to plan, but it's okay. Like, this is actually working out all right. But there was that definitely scary moment of like, oh, this is what being an adult's like.
Stuff like this just...
You just figured that out 2 years ago?
No, but it was
a year and a half ago.
It was an epiphany moment of like, oh, like it's all me at this point. Like, there's literally nobody farther up the chain I can run this other than like the police if things go really sideways.
It's the police, the FBI, the president is all that's left.
I guess things like this always have an impact on me. Like ideas like this, just like weird, like, wait a second. Like that's how the world works. Like Joy and I were watching The Hobbit and we got the last movie. We just enjoy watching the making of. And there's a scene with Galadriel, that's how you say it, where she's just like looking powerful at the camera and she kind of turns green and glowing and she fends off somebody. And it's funny because like when you watch in a movie, you go like, oh, they're so awesome. Like these are top level actors, getting paid. And then when you see the behind the scenes, it's so ridiculous and childlike that you're like, this is silly. Like it really is not as special as you think it is. It's really someone going up the camera going, oh, like with no effects. They just look so dumb. And I don't know. It's funny, like growing up, like you see things that are like, that's so impressive, he's so awesome. And then you like meet the person, you're kind of like, oh, I mean, it's awesome. It's awesome. You poop. Hey, first question about you poop too, right?
No, the Secret Service removed that years ago for efficiency.
My brain is odd, but it's
but we love it.
Somehow stuff like that's inspiring to me because it's like, well, it just is because it's like, hey, I can do that too, not just pooping.
I get what you're trying to say, but this is probably one of those sailor back into port. Like just dock that bad boy, come back to it later. It's fine.
When I was doing music, I got to open up for one of my favorite musicians for quite a few years. And they had just gotten off the airplane and been transported over to where we were performing. And the first thing he did was in the bathroom and took a big crap. I'm like, holy crap, this guy that like I idolized, musician, first thing he had to do when he got off the van is use the bathroom. Like, real life.
Yep. That's how it do. It's now time for a very truncated version of What Are You Playing This Week. We're getting close to longest episode ever territory, guys. We got to bring this thing home.
Yeah. Machine gun it.
Joel, you already talked about Soma a little bit. How much
Joel finished Soma. He loved it.
Soma, yeah.
James, what have you been playing?
Rocket League.
It's so funny that you
Battlefront,
are so diehard into that game now.
Shush. What else did I play this week? I mean, I played Fallout. There's another game that I played. Anyway.
You played a little bit of Star Wars.
Yeah, I said
Maybe
Star
it was
Wars.
Christian that was playing. I thought you played.
I've played a little bit this week.
Dave?
Fallout, Battlefront. I finished Hearts of Stone and Witcher this week, and now that I'm not recording anymore, my progress in the open world side quest has slowed to a freaking crawl. I go so slow exploring everything. I slow walk a lot. And prepping the next big Arma update. We're going to push out this week. Tomorrow,
Nice.
possibly.
Joel?
That update.
Sorry, have you been playing anything else?
I
I mean, Rocket League,
been playing
Dark Souls, Bloodborne.
Yeah, been playing
Battlefront.
Dark Souls 2 with Joy. That's been a lot of fun.
Mhm.
And she's
Have you been playing any more Disney?
She's really
Disney
good
Infinity?
at it. Oh yeah, Disney Infinity too. But Joy keeps making you laugh because she's like, "Man, I'm surprised that Jeremiah just was not good at this game."
Hang on.
She said,
I did all right at Dark Souls 2.
"You did good at managing. You like managed all of us as you're back, like shooting spells and stuff, and we're killing the boss for you."
If it's dumb and it works, it's
Yeah.
not dumb.
It was good. I had a fun time though. I had a fun time playing.
Don't
with
you be telling your wife lies about my
I wasn't saying.
performance.
She said that herself because she watched you play Bloodborne.
No, she hasn't. She sat next to your computer. No, Bloodborne.
No,
yeah,
she
not
went.
Dark Souls.
And then
Oh,
my wife laughed at you playing Bloodborne. It was a
Yeah.
little sad.
And then we all laughed at you playing Battlefront. Just kidding.
No, I'm depressed.
Dave, have you played any of the creative the toy box mode yet in Disney Infinity?
No, I'm never going to. Literally never.
Dave,
I know.
Dave.
No.
Dave, you need to try it.
The wife has,
Dave,
though.
you can build.
She's already changing
you can build
wallpapers.
little
to, like,
cantina,
Yeah,
you
I
Dude,
know.
the outside stuff is where you're at. You
Just
can build
try
your whole
As the
Game.
general
Split
of the
screen,
Minutemen, I have a very full schedule to protect my settlers. General.
And with that, as we wrap the show down this week, thank you guys. I'm moving next week. We're gonna try to do the show on a Thursday. If it looks like we got to move it to another night, we will. But I'm really hoping we can do the show as normal next week. But thank you for everyone for coming out. You can find us online, casualshenanigans@gmail.com. You can write in to be a part of the show. You can tweet at casualshenanigan. Find us on our website, casualshenanigans.com. We're also on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, etc., etc., etc. Dave and I have YouTube channels, Evil Viking 13 and JERMgaming. If you want to see Joel and Dave take a stroll through Dave's Fallout settlement while Joel tries to trip Dave up and realizes that that's basically pointless.
This
'Cause
next
Dave-
episode has a really good moment.
Because
That
Dave
was
has
hilarious.
thought about it way more than necessary.
Yeah.
You should go check out Dave's channel. We should add these to the playlist on the Casual Shenanigans YouTube channel. People can see it there too. It's something.
Joel thought he had me this last time, and I responded so perfectly that Joel's actual line was, "That's my Dave." It's amazing. He thought he had me, but no, I had him. Yeah, we're having a lot of fun with those settlement tours.
All right. And with that, Joel, take us home.
For a second, I almost forgot.
Everybody keep pooping.
Poop casual.
Stay regular.
There we go.